going ahead and starting the live stream now. Normally I do a 3-minute countdown, but today, being that we're running a little behind schedule, I'm not going to do it. So I kind of want to at least introduce Miss Underwood, and so I'm gonna blow up a little bit. This is Matchmaker. Could you give us a little quick idea, or not an idea, but a rundown of what your service entails and what you do?
So there is a little bit of static. Am I the only one
Who
hearing it?
is that? Who is that? Yeah, I hear it. Who is that? Let me see. Hold on. I'll be able to change. That's Frank. Okay, now is it gone now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, it's gone now. It's gone now. Okay, we good. All right, so Matchmaker. Tell us about Ask the Matchmaker. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so I am Letisha Underwood. I am a certified professional matchmaker. I've been doing this for about almost 10 years. And I work with high net worth, successful men who espouse traditional values, and I match them with women who have traditional values. And I'm also a dating specialist and strategist, and I work with singles who are looking to have a successful dating life. And the way that I go about doing that is helping you figure out your dating style and give you a strategy based on what it is that you're looking for.
All right then. Okay then. So I'm a oh shit. I want to do that. So I'm gonna throw the first question out there. This is my first time actually having a conversation with an actual matchmaker. Anybody that's seen any of my YouTube, um, I do enjoy Indian matchmaking. I've done a few reaction videos to that particular show on Netflix. So I have a respect for the process. Even though it's attached to their culture, I just like the process of it. I think it's very valuable. But I asked the panel to give some questions, and so we got a few questions. And Marcus, we'll get to you because I know you didn't submit any questions, but I know you'll have some. You'll come up with some of your own. But one of the questions I want to ask is, what seems to be the major difference between women and men clients?
So I don't matchmake for women. I only matchmake for men. Um, and I matchmake for men only for two reasons. One, I'm a Christian, and I believe that men seek wives and not women seeking husbands. And then two, women tend to have very unrealistic, unreasonable expectations, especially once they start making money or they're educated. So their demands get a little higher than what the markets dictate that they're qualified for. So it's easy.
Okay, see, I told y'all, man, she was gonna. I follow you, so I've seen some of your content, so I kind of know what some of the things that some of the ideas you subscribe to.
Yeah,
but
Mama, you putting me in the hot seat tonight.
Yeah, I'm putting in the hot seat just a little bit. Okay, so I do, like I said, I do have a few questions, but I know you can still answer them because you are in the dating world as far as you see it from a professional point of view. You see it from the outside looking in, regardless of whether you personally partake in whatever way or not. So one of the other questions I was given to submit is, if you could give young women advice about dating before they actually become adults, what would it be? Young ladies before they actually become adults.
I would tell them that, okay, so I would tell them you need to figure out what it is that you want and figure out if you want marriage. And if you want marriage at some point in your life, you need to understand that it's not always going to be available to you at a certain age. And once you start experiencing certain things in life, so as a young lady, you need to curate yourself as a wife. So what are your hobbies? What are your interests? Start developing your personality. That is a personality that exhibits that you are a woman to be taken serious and not a woman to play around with or pass around. That you are a young lady that is knowledgeable, intelligent, and capable. So also learn yourself, learn what you like, what you don't like. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to learn that through bad experiences, but you just need to figure out very early on who you are as a young woman, the type of woman you want to be in adult life, the type of wife you would like to be, and the type of husband you would like to have, and the family you would like to have. Figure that out very early on, start developing those skills, and you should have a very healthy dating life. I don't believe in dating all of them. I believe in just getting one good one and settling down, even if you're a teenager.
Okay. In this, okay, so I like that. You guys got any follow up to that, or was that pretty like I don't have any follow up to that because that's, I mean, if I'm talking to my daughters and if I'm talking to young women, I would frame it almost identical to that. So does anybody else have a particular thought or follow up to that?
I guess I do. I would ask, is it or is it probable that young ladies and I'm assuming we're talking, 17, 18 type deal, that young ladies that young are gonna know what they want out of life, and if not, how can we impress upon them that the things that they may want when they're younger are not necessarily going to be the things that they want when they become older.
So at 17, 18, they can if their parents are doing their job. So it takes a parent to shape a child in their formative years. And I tell parents, you need to get them like 1.5, 2 years old, start very, very early, in recognizing their personality types and pouring into that. Then you need to check in subsequently throughout their life, especially like right before middle school, asking them exactly what it is they want to be when they get older. What do you want to do? And then you need to start cultivating that. You need to pour into that. Help them define. Once they start showing you who they are, you need to help them define that for themselves. So by the time they get to 17, 18, they pretty much should know who they are. I knew who I was at 17, 18. My daughter is 22. She knew who she was at 17, 18. But I'd also tell them, yes, what you want at 17, 18, how you experience life and what you see in life is going to change as you get older. But it also depends on the life experiences that you have. So if you try to cultivate your life to where you're having mostly positive experiences, what you want out of life is not likely to change very much. But when you start having bad experiences, then you'll redirect and, start to change. But for the most part, set your kids on a path, they pretty much do not deviate from that.
So a follow up to that is that, as you know, in our community, we have nearly 70, 80% of our children are being raised in single parent, mostly single parent female led households. So the benefit of having that kind of structured environment growing up is not necessarily the reality for a lot of people, in our culture, in our community. And so, how do we, how do we do that given the current state of the black community?
It's not a reality, but it can be a reality. It's not a reality because people don't see kids as their own person. People see kids as an extension of themselves or something, like, oh, I had you, but they don't see and respect kids as little persons, their own individual people. And so if more mothers, even if they're single parent households, if more mothers poured into their children and understood that is not here to cover where a man is lacking. Your child is here for you to pour into and for you to develop and for you to guide through life to make them into productive members of society. I ended up as a single mother as my after a divorce. And because we lived in separate states, a lot of the parenting and heavy lifting fell on me. I went from a housewife to having to work. But I still made my daughter a priority. I still made the fact that I wanted her to be a productive member of society. I wanted her to have a well-rounded life and a good childhood, that I made that a priority. And if women, mothers, but start making their children a priority based on this is my child and I want them to have a good life, not just give them things that I didn't have and spoiling them out of guilt, but looking at who they're going to become as adults and pour into that. I think then we can shift. So I don't look at it as, well, you know, these are single mothers and, you know, it's just what it is. No, no, no. You chose to have a child. Now your responsibility is to raise this child and not utilize this child to step in because there is no man in the home.
Woo.
You cooking with grease, sis. I have nothing.
Listen,
I agree with every word.
Let me get a little sip of my wine here, because you know.
I didn't know we could have wine. I wish I
Man, you can get listen. You can get, if you come talking like that, you can get what you want. You need some? I'll send some over there. I'll be there. Listen, hey, okay, let's get to it. Okay, so I want to go with another question. Do women think? And I know you don't work with women, but I know you have to deal with them in some capacity.
Yeah.
So, do women think that it's, or I guess if you were working with women, do you think that they would think it was your job to find a man that they've created in their minds? Do women more often think that it's a matchmaker's job to find this conjuring of a man, this idea of a man that they've manifested in their brains?
Yes, this is why I don't work with women. That's half of the reason why I don't work with women. I'm not a miracle worker. I just listen. I have a gift that God bestowed upon me, and I try to help. But you know, the type of men that they want just do not exist. Even when it comes to date coaching clients and trying to get them to understand that the type of men that they want does not exist. The market is the market, and you're going to have to accept it. Now, either you're going to accept the lane that you're in and you're going to deal with what's in that lane, or you're going to do the work and put in some effort to qualify for a different lane. But other than that, yeah, there's a lot of pushback in getting them to understand that these men out here that they've conjured up in their head do not exist.
Well, so and could you describe that man? And for example, I'll share my cousin, and she won't mind. Chris, you won't mind if you see this. I know you won't mind. You know, she's a single mother by default. She was married, her husband passed away, so she's a widow, and she has two sons. And I mean, these boys are boys. These boys are boys in the full capacity of boys. I mean, if she had a third one, I don't think she'd make it. And we've talked, you know, I lived in Dallas, and we talked about dating, and she, you know, she would bounce things off me and I would bounce things off her. And I was divorced at the time and away from my children. So she would, you know, she got my perspective. And I remember asking her what her preferences were. And I was just asking to hear. And she gave these very simple preferences. And so she's dating and she's struggling. And I come back and I said, you know what? Give me those preferences again. I said, were they 666? I don't remember if they were. And I mean, when I say 666, I don't mean the devil. I mean 6 figures, 6 pack, 6 foot. And she said, no, I'm 5'4". I don't need a man that's 6 feet. A 6 pack. And she was like, no, I like my men big. She does. She likes men heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like not fat, but she likes a man with a body. You know? Don't say men ain't thick, man. I've been trying to tell y'all that for years. Quit calling men thick. Whoa, brolic, heavy set, whatever the case may be. And 6 figures, no, she didn't have this 6-figure demand. She just had a preference for men that can financially take care of a household. It was pretty much that simple. And I asked her if she thought that was the norm, and she believes that is the norm. So if that's not the norm, what is this thing that women conjure up in their brains that you come across?
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions. Does your cousin hold a degree?
Yes.
Okay. Does your cousin make above average income?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, she's married before. Did her deceased husband, did he have a degree?
No.
And did he make above average income?
I think he was a contractor or construction worker. So you know, men that work with their hands that or certified. I'm not sure if he had a degree, but I know to work in that field to do what he did, there's certifications that come with that. So those guys' earnings, you know, what do they call them on Kevin Samuel's show?
Blue collar workers.
Yeah, blue collar worker, I believe. But he had
They make money.
I forget.
Oh,
He had
so he was a Henry. I think that's
a Henry. Yeah. So you know, he was
not a Henry. He was his blue collar workers.
Yeah. But he was a bigger guy. He was a big guy, heavy set, but a man's man in every sense of the word, from what I've gathered over the years.
How old was she when she got married?
Fresh out of college, sometime shortly after.
So your cousin's standards were reasonable because one, she was married to the man who actually met that standard, and he imprinted on her, and she married.
And to be fair, she's my cousin, and the men in our family, and the example of women, and what women believe in, they are very throwback. Like it's a different crop. Our grandmothers were not 50 years old. Our grandmothers was all 80, 90, who had husbands and pawpaws. And so we might be talking about me trying to use her as an example might not be a good example based on what you see out
Yeah,
here.
because for the most part, okay, for what a matchmaker charges, right, you're going to get more of the educated, high-earning women. And when it comes to date coaching, you're going to get educated, high-earning women, right? Education, how long a woman has been out on the dating market can affect her standards. Relatively, women who are in college and they're meeting men while they're in college, they typically don't have unrealistic standards. It's not until they've graduated from college, they're late 20s, late 30s. Now they're in their careers, they start making money. Their standards start becoming unrealistic only because what they're looking for in a man just does not exist. And they're looking for a man who matches them, even though they're in the minority. And then you have, women who aren't in college at all, but they're busy looking at everyone else's lifestyle. So they develop their standards off of that. So the things that I've seen that women look at and want in a man, for the most part, on average, looks, how he looks. He has to be someone that she's attracted to. Can't be butt ugly. Can't look like Quasimodo. I don't care how good of a heart he has. And he has to be someone that her friends can validate, that her social circle can validate, her family can validate. She doesn't want to bring him around and everybody's like, girl, what are you doing with him? Like, oh, you got to put a paper bag over his head. She doesn't want that. So he has to look attractive. Studies have shown that women prefer the more dad bod, so he doesn't necessarily have to have a six-pack. But if he does have a six-pack, that's going to be a bonus. When women say money is not a factor, I don't really believe that, because unless you're willing to be a breadwinner or you're willing to be a bread sharer, then money is a factor for a woman. So what they're looking for is he has to be handsome, he has to be attractive according to her friends. He has to make a decent amount of money, meaning for most women, because where most Black people are situated in the country, on the coast, New York, LA, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, those are high cost of living areas. So they're looking at someone who makes at least 75K. Well, how many men make 75K? That puts you in like the top 12, 15% of men. That's a very small pool. So now the pool is shrunk. Also, penis. So they want sex. They want to make sure that man has high desirability. So he has to look good. He has to make at least 75K, and he has to at least give that vibe that he knows what he's doing in the bedroom.
And oh God, so that's an unrealistic expectation.
And height is too, because you have most men.
Oh, I know that's ridiculous.
Even though they don't want,
I know that's ridiculous.
And even they say they don't want 6 feet, they don't care. If a guy comes to them and he's 5'6", they're gonna pass on him. He's 5'9", they're gonna pass on him. Now he can be just under 6 feet, 5'9", 5'9" and a half, 5'10". But if he's any shorter than that, she's gonna have a hard time. And unfortunately, a lot of men, almost majority of men, are shorter, are about 5'9", 5'9" or shorter.
And 6 feet is overrated. Let me tell you something.
That's what you said.
No, I'm gonna be, no. I will be real candid. Watch this. I'm not gonna play with y'all. First of all, tall men, knee issues and back issues. Now let me tell you about them back issues. Let me tell you what don't happen. You get you a tall man, I don't care how strong he is, unless he's a big, tall dude. You think scooping your ass up and just bouncing around the room, it ain't happening the way you think. I like to climb. You ain't climbing that many damn trees. I'm just saying that back is a thing. Tall dudes and bad backs, go look at the numbers, it's a thing. Not saying mine is the case, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying I expect it to become that at a certain point. How do you advise clients to approach the dating market based on the current economy right now? Based on this current financial situation that we're in the United States?
My matchmaking clients, they're well off, so I don't have to. They're going to do what they want to do. So they're going to continue to move however they want to move. Date coaching clients, I tell men that okay, this is going to end up being a situation like 2020. Women are going to start waking up, realizing they want to be alone. They can't do it on their own. They don't want to do it on their own because they're realizing, my gosh, a crisis can happen, and I'm one income away from being stuck. So 2 incomes. So if I had income, then I wouldn't have such impact here. What I'm telling men is this is the best time to get out there in the dating market, because I don't want to say women are desperate, but I'm saying women are going to be more open and more receptive to men approaching them when you have the economy as it is.
Man, listen. See, y'all think I be joking when I say get out there while you down and out, and everybody's down and out. I know y'all be clowning me because I write a lot of stuff, but I'm telling you, desperation, bro. The homeless shelter.
Desperation. You gonna have people saying, "Oh my gosh, Letisha calling women desperate."
No. I'm saying desperation yields the quickest results. Go to a homeless shelter. It's some bad women at some homeless shelter. Ask my man right here. Ask the Atlanta Street Interview. If it's some bad women at them homeless shelters, he will tell you that I've seen some of the women on his interviews. I'm like, damn, she's homeless. She ain't gonna be homeless for long. I'm telling you right now, dudes gonna snatch up the homeless women. So this is the time, dudes. They struggling. Them PPP loans that ran out. They hurt. Man, go get you one. Go get you one.
I guess that's why I'm gonna stay single, because I don't fall into that category at all.
You ain't single yet. I think Mr. gonna fix it. He gonna let you slide. You think?
I was about to say, hold on, wait, what?
She ain't
what? Wait, hold on. Did I miss something?
Hold on.
Hold on. Is this gonna be the viral clip? Hold on. What's going on? I thought you was married.
No, she is.
We're separated.
Okay. I got it. That kind of confused me. You're like single. Okay, cool. Okay, no, I get it.
Okay, so does anybody have any more questions from the matchmaker? Because I mean I know I can throw some out there. Frank, you haven't asked any questions of her, but go ahead and throw one on out there.
I got one. What's the most unreasonable man that has been your client?
The non-select lame nerdy guy.
Describe this man. I'm curious.
Yeah. Like okay. Please see now, y'all listen.
Backstory.
She gonna get some hate mail. She gonna get some heat. But go ahead.
He has a degree. He makes significant amount of money, but he's lacking in other areas that women like. So he wasn't tall. He was. I don't like to use the word corny, but just for the sake of conversation, women would consider him corny because he's what I would describe as an Oreo. He would be a white man in a black man's body. so he was giving off that energy. He was more like a Carlton Banks, but he felt like he was deserving of 8, 9s, and 10s. And I'm like, he was making like $250,000 a year. And I'm like, you're not gonna qualify for 8, 9, and 10. You're not gonna. And he's like, I want one of them Instagram models. I'm like, first off, I'm here to match you for marriage. Like, I don't even have Instagram models on my database. And he's like, no, you could just. I know you. I've seen you at work. I see how you work. You can just reach out to one of them and you can get. I was like, hold on, I'm not a hoe wrangler. I'm not a madam. That's not how this works. I am a matchmaker and I have a database and women sign up for my database and I pull from that database. If I can't find a match for you on the database, I reach out to my matchmaking colleagues or I may do some other type of recruiting. But what you're asking me, it sounds like you're trying to ask me to be a madam. I'm not doing that. I was like, if you want to get married, you're going to have to get you a nice, wholesome young lady. And he, he was 5'3". 5'3", and I'm like, you don't make enough for that. But luckily, I got him to turn around, and I matched him with a real pretty girl. She was only 5 feet tall, and she was very sweet and kind, and that worked for him. And thank you.
Now let me flip it. I'm gonna flip it to Atlanta Street, because let me tell you, man, that's the resident short dude. But if you don't know and you just listen to him, that personality and that talk, you forget real quick that he ain't taller than me, real quick. And I again, I think he's one of the exceptions to the rule. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's not bothered by their stature, but their personality just circumvents it. You got to kind of remind yourself, like, wait a minute,
he was very analytical and cerebral in his conversations, and it was like you don't have the awareness and the social skills and the social awareness to really dial that back when you're talking to people. Like, who wants to be on a date and you got to use your brain all like that? Like, I'm just trying to get to know you. I'm not sitting in a lecture, right? This is not a TED talk. I'm just trying to relax, enjoy you, get to know you, and you're being cerebral. Like you're just using your brain. You're being logical. There's no emotion there. There's passion. So I'm like, yeah, an Instagram model is not going to be interested whatsoever. So you're going to have to adjust your expectations.
Hey, Mark, kind of throw something out there for the guys that might not know, because they might be listening to her, think she's tripping. Could you back that up with your own personal experiences out here maneuvering, how I've watched you maneuver in your life?
I mean, listen. So I'm definitely, I guess, what you would consider short, right? I'm 5'5". And so, but I've got a couple of things that, I guess overcome that, let's just say. And so I don't really have, I don't know, to be honest with you, I'm gonna be just 100% honest. Honestly, I feel bad for a lot of short guys, man, because if you don't have like almost every other thing, like if you're not also handsome, if you don't have a good body, and if you don't have good sex, then basically if you add any of those to the short thing, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to me attract a lot of women. And then of course the personality I have is personality I have. It's I've always been kind of outgoing and things like that. So like I say, guys who are more, I guess, what you would consider corny, or just not, can't really hold their own in social environments, and make people gravitate towards them. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I guess my question would be, what advice did you give this guy? Did you keep it like a hundred, a buck with him, or did you, placate him a little bit? Or, what did his body look like? What was his, what was other things that he had going on? Was he a handsome guy? What was the deal?
He was average looking and he had an average body. So well, not an average body. Like I wouldn't say he was fit, but he wasn't like he didn't have any weight issues. per se. Like he looked like if
I got you.
as he- if he-
Just regular
just
guy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I was
I
trying
mean,
to.
I tell all my short guys. I'm sorry to interject. I tell all my short guys. I joke with them, but I tell them you gotta be in the gym. Like that's just bare minimum. Like out here on this dating market, man, it is brutal. It's brutal, and everything that she's saying is true. You're gonna have your young ladies that don't really care about height and stuff like that. But then you're gonna have a lot of them that do, and especially the ones that consider themselves to be of a certain stature or whatever. And so you've got to, if you want to compete for those women, then like I say, if you're short, man, you got to have a rocking body and everything else. And so at the very least, you can control getting in the gym and making that be a whole lifestyle. So that's pretty much what I tell short guys. And so if you have any more short guys, you let them know that Marcus said you got to get in the gym. It's mandatory. Like it's not even a question. Like you have to have when you take your clothes off, you have to turn women on. You know what I'm saying? If when you take your clothes off, it's not turning them on, because then they'll forget about the short thing, and then when you get to the sex, they'll forget about the short thing too. But before that, they're going to be looking at the short thing, and so you got to have everything else lined up.
Yeah. So the way that I dealt with him was I told him that I was not going to honor that request. There was no way I was going to be able to match him up with a 9 or 10 unless he did get in the gym, because I did tell him, I was like, I'm to be honest with you, there's some things you have to work on. Like you need to maybe get a new barber, because his hairline was a little funky. So I hooked him up in that department. But the gym thing is something he really pushed back on. Like he just didn't have it in him. He didn't want to really put in the work to work out and stuff. So I was like, look, I'm not going to match you with a woman like that. So either you can follow my process, go through the program, or I could just fire you right now and I don't issue refunds. So it's up to you. So
I think the most interesting thing, one of the things I said a while back in one of my monologues is that when you want better results or different results, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. The gym is uncomfortable. You're going to hurt. You're in front of strangers. You don't know what you're doing. You've never been in there before. And if you even got the money to go get you a trainer, you damn sure going to be hurt. You have to be uncomfortable to get those different results. And when it comes to social skills, I can't speak to how men can develop those. I know my boy Marcus, he's an interviewer now for a living, and he's doing quite well. And even when I listen to his interviews, I listen to him pull stuff out of people that I know I couldn't pull out of people. And he's a salesman by default. So you tell him no to this, he's gonna ask you the same question 3 other ways to get the yes or to get something. And so so his social skills are different. But one of the things I did a monologue on incels, and there's 2 things that men have to consider. One, if you need some therapy, get the therapy. And 2, then you get the dating coaching. You don't get the dating coaching without the therapy. Now, and I'll go to Kevin Samuels. He talked to a lot of brothers about getting their hairline straight, getting their outfits together, carrying themselves, buying a suit, blah, blah, blah. He did not spend a lot of times talking about therapy. And I know he didn't, because I compared him to Healthy Gamer.
I'm gonna interject. I'm gonna interject, man. I'm gonna interject.
I know you finna put on that
cake. He did. No. Listen, it's already on. It's already on. All right. But no, seriously, seriously. He really did. He really did advocate for therapy.
Well, and I don't mean not advocate for it, but I
don't know if that's knocking your point off, but trust me, he did. He was a big advocate for therapy.
Okay, when I talk about the Healthy Gamer, I won't listen. He's not known to any. He's not known to 90% of anybody who doesn't know. When I went to his site, this is a mental health therapist. So the things that he was saying, we can only pontificate on as talking heads. But he really dove into the side of it that the therapy is more important than the coaching. Like you got, because you can get all the coaching and all the confidence based on your look and appearance all day long. if they haven't uprooted that stuff that's internal, it's not going to make a difference just because you got a woman to lay eyes on you and give you 10 minutes of her time. So we got to lean heavily onto that, because unlike my brothers right here, I went to high school with these dudes, and in our circle, we were each other's therapy. Like, you learned how to go out and you learned how to go out and figure it out and get it, and a lot of guys don't have that. So to make it to the point where you have the money and resources to get a matchmaker, but you ain't quite got the therapy, and you think she's gonna pull a 10 out of a hat for you, and you struggling with social skills and a dad bod, and you 5'3", bruh, like, you not doing yourself any favors.
Mm-mm. And not demonstrating that killer instinct that women are naturally attracted to. Like, if you're trying to accomplish something in life, whatever you did to be earning 250,000, it must be one of those. He got credentialed, got a degree, and just got a decent job or whatever. It couldn't be anything the way he really got it out the mud, because he doesn't seem to have that killer instinct. And that is something that all women are naturally going to be attracted to. When you can go out and get it. And part of that, like you say, is just being uncomfortable, and that's in every way. The gym for sure, but you talk about how I've developed myself socially over the course of my career. It's because I've been in sales. It's because that I've had to jump in front of strangers and make them trust me very quickly, because it's always been face-to-face sales and impulse sales. It's always been impulse, so it's always been it's not long developing over days type thing. It's like right here, right now, get them to trust me, get them sold, send them away in about the span of 5 minutes. And so, when you're constantly putting yourself in situations where you're that uncomfortable, you're having to talk to strangers, deal with different people all the time, then that just, it kind of makes you a social butterfly whenever you need it.
All right, then. Who else got something for the matchmaking? Who else got something for the matchmaking? What about you, Chef? What you cooking on over there?
I'm not cooking anything, because I agree. I mean, like I said, I'm well, my certification is long past gone, but I did life coaching for women for like 3 months. I quit very quickly because of some of the things that Letisha's talking about. Because it's like I don't know where these fairy tales came from. And it disinterests me in working with people, period, on that particular level. Just because I don't know, I don't even, and this was in the mid 2010s or so. Social media was popping, but people weren't really putting their business out there quite like that just yet. And people just have, I don't know where it comes from. You have someone who came from a relatively poor household, no skills. They claim they want to better themselves, but don't want to actually do any of the work to do it. And they want a 6-figure man. And it's like, how? Like, what? So yeah, 3 months in, and I quit. So just listening to you talk, it's like, yep, it may all make sense to me. Especially even the piece of raising your kids. Many people see their children as property, and they don't put that effort into them. It's like, just because you make sure they eat and have clothing and have a roof over their head, that's not actually raising them. They have personalities. They have to be cultivated. They have to be inspired. Just like when you go to work, you want someone to inspire you to do your best. Your kids have to do the same. So I don't have a lot, because I just agree with everything you're doing. You out here doing the work that I just refuse to do. So keep it up.
Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Look,
I probably shake my head every week. I swear, 2022, I was ready to throw in a towel at least every other day. I was like, I'm not doing this. And then I'll get a client that tells me, you changed my life, or I'll get someone that says, I listened to you on a social media platform and you changed my life and everything. So then I was like, okay, it makes it all well worth it. But in my head, I'm probably quitting every other day.
Look, she'll have a post, and I'll be like, ooh, make this public. And she would just be like, not today. I don't feel like I'm not finna. Because I've shared some more stuff, and they have lobbed all kind of grenades at her. And that's what's going to happen when the sisterhood doesn't quite agree with whatever you have to say. So what I want to jump into is Miss Lori Harvey. Y'all haters Oh, boy. And look, he laughing. That's the villain right there, boy. He laughing.
He want all the smoke.
He wants the goddamn smoke. So I want to know, and I'm gonna start with him. But what do y'all feel, or what do y'all think Lori Harvey's impact on the culture has been? And she's not been in the limelight long. Like, think about it. It was Michael B. Jordan that really jumped it out there. I mean, before that, like the P. Diddy rumors, there was little things here and there, rumors.
Future.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
There
Future.
little things. It was, yeah. And then Michael B. Jordan was when everybody was like, yay. And then when it was over, everybody was like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think her impact on the culture has been? And I gotta let Frank get this because he's been the quietest for the longest, and I know he's been waiting. He's been sitting on this one. So tell me what that impact's been like, brother.
Well, first of all, I don't really care that much. Well, I don't care at all. But from my observation, what it looks like to me is that regular, everyday women are living vicariously through her, and she's painting this picture. It's like she's become the poster child of man eater. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't help in that lifestyle, that behavior that she exhibits. Might not necessarily be what we think it is, but just the appearance of it and what people are interpreting that lifestyle to be is not helping bringing black men and black women together. Is sending a message, or people rather are interpreting it as I can go from man to man to man until I'm satisfied with one that I find, or that I have infinite time to jump from man to man and not have any consequences on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, I mean, she can do whatever she wants. I mean, but the thing that I keep seeing is, well, she's young and she's young and she's young and pretty. Um, she's not this. She is pretty, but she's not like Halle Berry in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? Like when Halle Berry came on
Yes,
the
she
scene.
is. Yes,
No,
she
no,
is.
she ain't.
Yes,
No,
she
no,
is.
no.
Yes, she is.
Hold
Yes,
on,
she
man.
is. It's not like she
I've
is.
seen
Yeah,
I've
hold on.
seen I've seen women that look just as good as Lori Harvey. That's not in a that's not a limelight chick. Like that's what I said. She's pretty, but she's not like that it girl. There are tons
Yeah.
of other women that look just as good, if not better.
One of the
Or
things
well,
I love
not
about
if
you is
not,
just how
just as good and better than Lori Harvey. When I was looking at a video today, and I was just looking at her like, yeah, she's pretty, but she's like average pretty.
Hold on. Okay,
I
pause.
can see that.
Pause. Okay. Hold on. I want to play this first clip of when she was on the reel last year. And I don't follow any of this stuff. So if anybody, like, I'm operating, I'm coming way left field. I don't follow the reel. I don't follow Red Table. I don't follow what women talk about and get excited and coo over. But after, just watch this first and tell me what y'all get on the first
One of the
impression.
things I love about you is just how confident you are. How you carry yourself as a woman is absolutely beautiful. And I see that a lot in your mom. Like, I see your mom and I'm like, who is the woman that Marjorie Harvey raised? What would she say? What are some of the things she's taught you?
I would say just, be confident, be sure in yourself. Don't let anybody take you off your pedestal. Don't let anybody tilt your crown.
Right.
Go after everything you want in life and never settle.
I love that. Words to live by. One of the things I love about you is just how confident you are. How you carry yourself as a woman is absolutely beautiful. And I see that a lot in your mom. Like,
So again, that's just a quick moment. And looking at her, I would not. On the look side of it, I don't think I would say she's just pretty. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a. If I saw her,
Listen. That's really neither here nor there.
yeah.
The truth is that she's a celebrity. So, just to preface the whole conversation, it's just a whole different level. They have a whole different world, a whole different life. They move and do things differently. That being said, the fact that she is as pretty as she is the danger to a lot of the women out here because they don't look like her, and so they don't have her status, they don't have her celebrity,
See,
and they
Lori,
don't they just frankly don't look like her. And so if you don't have the type of options that she has, and that she's frankly probably gonna have even through the next 10 years or so, then it is what it is, But so women can't necessarily look to her as their inspiration because they're not gonna have the same results that she has. And all you're gonna have is a whole generation of women that are gonna be hitting the wall in about 10 years, that are just completely used up and don't really have a whole lot of great options.
Yeah, but what results is she gonna have in 10 years? She's just because she's pretty, that doesn't prevent her from ending up lonely and single and sad. I mean, we're looking at
Look at her mom.
It's
Look at
not
her
even
mom.
no. Her mom moved. Well, her mom had to. If her mom was different, right? But we're looking at women who are at the same social status, if not higher than her, higher celebrity than her, that had the same mindset, was the it girl in their youth, was the beautiful woman that all the men, especially black men, were pining after. You have Vivica Fox, Taraji P. Henson.
Ooh.
Look, you got Taraji P coming out crying because I'm not that it was supposed to be like this, right? I've got women.
Well, I didn't say 30 years from now, but 10 years from now, when she's still 35, she'll still have some options. So when she rounds that 45, that corner, that's when those options are going to be dried up. But I feel like up to 35, there's still going to be some suckers around that's going to give her the time and attention and all that good stuff.
But
this is my personal opinion.
Yes, they will. But the problem is she's still going to be thinking, I still have time. I don't know how old anybody else is, but when I surpassed 32, 35, when I surpassed 35, time seemed to move fast. I'm like, whoa. When I turned 40, I was like, whoo, I'm 40 already? Like, where did time go? Like, it moves fast. And the problem women have is they think time moves slow. And so they move as if time moves slow. She's going to hit 35, still thinking she has time. And then she's going to realize, just like Claudia Jordan, Vivica Fox, Taraji P. Henson, all the beautiful 40 plus 50-year-old women that hit me up on a daily talking about, what am I going to do? Can you match me with a man? Can you do this? Can I work a miracle? Because they thought in their youth that they had time, because people were telling them, just like people are telling Lori, that, oh, date them all. You don't have to settle down. You don't have to choose anyone right now. You have plenty of time. You don't have to settle, and just do you and date them all and have fun and figure out who you are. And it's like it took them 20 years to figure out that they're these beautiful, strong, courageous, capable, competent, intelligent women. And now 40 plus 50, you want to settle down with a very handsome man. And when you get that age, you do want a six-pack, because all the men got dad bods and
dad bods.
So
right.
you want what's not in abundance. You want a six-pack. You want a tall man, and you want a man with money, because now once you get 40 plus, you want a certain lifestyle. You're like, listen, I want to travel, or I want a nice house, and I want to drive a nice car. I want to go to fancy dates, and I want you to romance me, take me out on a really nice date. And so it gets harder because the standards that you had when you were 20, now, and men were lining up in their 20s and early 30s. They were lining up to meet those standards, right? But you didn't choose one of those men to settle down and then he can carry that out through the rest of your marriage. Nope, you thought, well, if this one will do it, I can get another one. The next one will do it. Next thing you know, now you're 45 plus, 50 plus, and you're still holding those standards, thinking a man is going to retire you. You can stay at home. You don't have to do anything. You're just pretty enough. And no, and I'm here to tell you that there are women who had that mindset, move like that, and now they're much older and they're looking back and they're saying, if I only knew, and if somebody would have only told me. And unfortunately, people are looking at Lori and saying, well, she's a celebrity, she's got money, she's rich. Well, guess what? Vivica was on the big screen. Come on. Vivica was the it girl. Taraji P. Henson won awards. They're both rich. Claudia Jordan is a very beautiful young woman. Well, not young.
I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. Just to kind of like, I know, seriously, I agree with everything you're saying. Hey, listen, if she can learn in these 9 or 10 years before she turns 35, and I guess that's kind of more so where I was going is, if she realized that, what I'm saying, she doesn't have but so much time, then she would have till about 35. But no, I agree with you 100% that this is how a lot of ladies out here move, and they end up hitting that wall and realize that the options they don't have.
I don't
Options
think
that they thought they had, they don't have.
I don't think she's going to learn. I think that there's too much enabling there, and I don't think she's going to wake up and change course.
I agree.
How I see her is kind of how I saw Rihanna when Rihanna first came out, because Rihanna did the exact same thing. She was always dating somebody. It was always her out in the open. But then she got to a point where it was like, okay, well, now I found somebody who I can really connect with. They have a child together. They're about to get married. So I'm hoping that is Lori's story.
Wait, they're engaged?
Yeah, they got engaged the end of last year. She posted a ring and everything. It was right after the baby was born or right before. I can't remember. It's happened the end of last year. But the reason I don't come down on Lori Harvey is because, in all honesty, she is doing publicly what a lot of women do privately. So it doesn't make sense to vilify her, especially the women I've seen vilifying her. They're in their 30s, 40s. They're at a point where they have missed out. And now they're vilifying her for living a life that they lived. Sis, I mean, you did what you did. It is what it is. You got what came out of that for you. And now you want to look back at this young lady and like, well, she's this and she's that. And okay, then, did you realize that about yourself, or are you projecting? That's how I feel about it. When I look at Lori Harvey, I see a young woman who has, for her lifestyle, infinite resources. Not infinite resources, actually, but for her lifestyle. She has infinite access to the different people she wants to be a part of. And she's taking advantage of that. Would that be my lifestyle? I could never say that because I didn't grow up with money. I grew up poor. So I would never move like that. I have never moved like that. But when you have this access to different people in the way that celebrity children do that grow up and eventually become adults, I mean, most of them move like that. It's not unheard of. But people want to, call her out. I think most of the people really started looking at her crazy when it went from her dating Diddy's son to dating Diddy, then Future. Then, here's this man who's quite older than you wanting to marry you, and you're telling him no. Whereas a lot of women are like, what is wrong with you that you would tell Michael B. Jordan no? That's her life. She may not aspire to be married at all. She may aspire to just jump from man to man to man. So I think a lot of it comes from us projecting on how we think she should be living her life. And a lot of us don't even know enough about her to say, well, she's gonna, get to this point where she's gonna be lonely and blah, 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 blah. She might not care. And you have this next generation of women that don't care for any of that. They just want companionship when they want it, and they want to leave it when they want it. So I hope for her sake, she's navigating her lifestyle in a way that works for her now, but also gives her the ability to transition long term. But at the end of the day, honey, that ain't my life, not my monkey, not my circus. So, you know, I won't vilify her for living her life the way she does. These are all, we all have to deal with the consequences of our actions. And our actions may be positive, but there's still an opportunity cost. You're still going to gain something. You're also going to lose something. I'm hoping for her, she's doing what makes sense for her, and it doesn't, you know, turn into something that she regrets later, because she is in the public eye. I don't think she's necessarily jumping from man to man to man in a traditional sense, because if you look at the actual time between she's dating, that's no different from most people dating. It's just that it's public. So it seems like she was just with Michael B. Jordan, even though that was like 8 months ago. So I just reserve it to like, hey, live your best life, sis. And, you know, I hope it works out for you.
See, I would not want my daughter's 22, so she's not that much younger than Lori Harvey. I wouldn't want my daughter like this. I'm like all these different partners. It affects. It doesn't matter how in between. It's now affecting your ability to bond, your pair bonding. Women are going to naturally bond to men who treat them well, in and out of the bedroom. And then when that breakup happens, there's a little bit of letdown there. So now your body is now training you so that you don't go through that, your brain doesn't go through that letdown. So now your ability to bond with a man becomes less and less unless you get therapy to then correct that.
But she's the one breaking these off. So
you're still going to have a letdown at the fact that it didn't work out. Because obviously, I'm not going to say she's getting into it for any other reason other than she obviously wants a relationship. She said that she wants a relationship, a long-term relationship. She said she wants marriage and kids in the future.
And I'm gonna play that clip because there is a clip where she talks about black love, and we'll get to that. So she does have some foundation, and I definitely want to play some of her clips. Well, hold on, before we, I don't mean to cut you off, Letisha, but I want to play the clip where she talks about her and Michael B. Jordan's relationship and see what you guys glean from what she says. Now, if you follow her,
does she have this awful baby hair in that one too? Because
hey man, how the baby hair?
Better that than flyaways.
I've been stalking your Instagram, and I like those pictures.
Thank you.
And he is really making an impact on your life, Michael B. Jordan.
You got making an impact on her life or your life?
Exactly, Lonnie. Well, both of them.
She said both of them.
You better watch Lonnie. I mean, no, when you think about it, we were just surprised at the relationship because he was the most sought after bachelor.
That's right.
We just love him. I think he represents a wonderful man in our culture, especially when it comes to movies and presenting himself. But that's all we know now. You on the real. So what makes your relationship so special?
You know, we just really balance each other. And I really do believe in this statement, you know, when they say, when you know, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that really applies to our situation. And, you know, we just have a really good time together. He's so sweet, very attentive, you know. He listens to me, you know, the things that I say that I want, and he, like, really makes an effort. So I think that's
really, I just really love the relationship. What's the sexiest thing or the sweetest thing he's done for you?
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
I honestly, like, he's really good at all the big things and, you know, Valentine's Day, birthdays, all that. But, like, it's the little things, the everyday things that I think really is what makes him special. Like, he just listens to me when I talk. Like, even, you know, the other day I just been saying I really wanted to go to a farmer's market. And so he, like, called me one morning, like Sunday morning. He was like, what are you doing? Get dressed, I'm about to come pick you up. And he, like, took me an hour away to this, like, really cute farmer's market. We had the best day. So it's things like that that I'm like,
those are the little things.
Now,
she loved him.
I think a fact that he's a Capricorn and he's an Aquarius. I don't know if y'all know astrology, but
wait, calm down. I'm a Capricorn.
No.
Yeah, the Alpha and the Omegas hold it down.
I'm a Capricorn as well. Wait, when was your birthday?
Hey, December 30th, baby. Listen, I
Okay,
started
well,
out.
you're a December Capricorn. It don't
It
count.
don't matter. It don't Alpha and Omega. I end this shit.
Right.
Them January Capricorns will take you through.
Now, my birthday is January 11th, so her birthday is January 13th. Her birthday just passed, right? So she's a Capricorn. He's an Aquarius, right? Capricorns tend to be very reserved, modest, intellectual. Aquariuses tend to be a little more out there, the way that they think, and the way they move. I think their style, while they had some compatibility as far as what they were looking for in a partner, I think the way that they looked at life might have been too different. Because I've dated an Aquarius, and I was like, this the way his brain thinks and the way he thinks about things. I'm like, and then the way he couldn't deal with me being a reserved, more low key, laid back, introverted person, whereas Aquarius, they're and then Aquariuses are, I don't want to say they're difficult like in the way of an Aries. It's hard for you to let them in. Like they won't let someone in, right? They're very hot and cold. That's what it is, Sheffy. They are hot and cold, right?
I'm raised one.
And it's like, come on now. Like we were getting somewhere, we were going somewhere. Now you kind of backed off because you're uncomfortable with something. And so that could have played a part. I think their personalities, as much as they liked each other, their personalities could have played a part. Because she seemed like she really was into him.
She did.
And I think now, because what they just said was something real. I don't know if anybody watching, took in what she said, but to a lot of people, they felt like Michael B. Jordan represented an ideal of black men, the way he presented himself in movies. And there's been movies that Michael B. Jordan has been in that I've stumbled across, and I'm like, yeah, he kind of always represents a certain archetype. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He only played the villain one time that we know of, and that wasn't even a real villain. That was more of an antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So he typically plays these roles and presents himself in some way, and we don't see a bunch of stuff about him in the media. Right. And so when black women can idealize a black man, and then you see one on screen who falls in line with Denzel, who falls in line with some of the ones that have represented themselves in what we see as real life and on screen, they like that. Then you get Lori Harvey getting with him, and so the brothers are like, all right, we kind of see, and the sisters like, yay, she got the most eligible bachelor. And then when it fell through, at that moment, that's when I think I saw brothers feel some kind of way. So why are men so bothered by Lori Harvey? I'm gonna let Frank jump into that. I'm gonna let him go there, and I'm gonna come behind him. Now, if he beat me to some of the things I'm gonna say, then I'm gonna say, I know why y'all bothered.
I think what it is that he represented the good guy, because there hasn't been a scandal about him other than the rumors that he only liked white women, and because he was on a boat party or whatever with a whole bunch of white women. But with that aside, I think with men he represented like the pinnacle of good men, and their gripe has always been pretty women only wanted the bad boys. And so once she got with Michael B. Jordan, and when no dudes complaining, but when they broke up, it was like, see, we was telling y'all they don't really want the good guys, because it doesn't get any gooder. I mean, not gooder. That's not the word. I'm sounding like
country boy.
It doesn't get as good as Michael B. Jordan in Hollywood, because you can pull a name out of the hat of men in Hollywood and dig some dirt up on them. You can't do that with Michael B. Jordan. Dude, take care of his mama and daddy. They live with him. Dude seems to be polite and a decent, well-rounded guy, successful, got money. So it's like, what more do you want from a man? He embodies everything that y'all say y'all want in a man. Then this woman gets him she gets one of them, or the king of them. they always need a king. And then she dropped him. So I think a lot of guys had a sour taste in their mouth with in regards to Lori Harvey, because they saw themselves in Michael B. Jordan, and if he, being the top good guy, can get dropped by this woman, then there's no hope for them. So this just proves our point that y'all don't want the good guy like y'all say y'all do. So, to hell with her. So I think they just had a meltdown, some unresolved issues that they have from middle school.
Wow.
I got a better take. Hey, check this out, man. I know what it is. Y'all see that fine woman walking around with somebody that you see her moving. You see her moving. And you feel some kind of way, just like you felt some kind of way back in the day when you saw that fine woman moving around in your city, in your community, in your college, in your high school, wherever you were when you sat on the sideline and you witnessed this woman get, I don't want to say passed around, but you saw her choose who she wanted to choose. It put a sour taste in your mouth because that's the kind of woman you wanted. See, you wanted the cheerleader. Yeah, you did. You wanted the majorette. Yeah, you did. You wanted the secretary of the student council, didn't you? Yes, you did. But she wasn't checking for you. She was checking for that guy and that guy and that guy. And so men feel some way about that. They also feel some way about the idea that if they walk into a room where other men are and other men can say, oh, I used to date her. Man, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not built for that. I'm not built for no moment where I show up to a spot and then you get the big head hug from a stranger. I'm not built for it. I'm keeping it a stack. So I think a lot of dudes sit back and think, and they look and they're like, wow, in the circle that she's in, it's not a big circle. It's an extremely small circle. It's a circle smaller than the circle that we all date and live in. So I think a lot of guys look and see, damn, she's moving in this small circle with these different men. And they're like, man, if that was me, if I'm in Atlanta and I go to the club and I see old girl with this dude, and last week she was with this dude, oh man, you automatically form this opinion about this woman, and you don't know the details, the ins and out of that situation. So I think a lot of guys see that. And similar to what you're saying, Frank, they're projecting their observations and experiences and impressions onto her and what she's doing, and they sitting back like, nah, she's for the streets.
But see, what I've learned in matchmaking is that just because I have two ideal people that I think would go together, right? There's other factors at play that I must consider. Personality is a huge issue that people don't think of. Your different personality types can make or break the dynamic if you can't get past those differences, right? Him being an Aquarius, he's flighty, he's more idealistic, he's like water, he's fluid. Her being a Capricorn, she's more steady, stable, grounded. Try being a Capricorn with an Aquarius. When you are steady, stable, grounded.
I've done it. Oh, bro, let me tell you, I hope she's not watching.
Right? Capricorns are organized. They like detail, justice, and all these other things. Aquariuses are these big idea type people. They see the big picture. Capricorn can only see what's in front of them based on the details and the facts. I think their personalities just won't allow it to work. I just think, and sometimes as a matchmaker, when I have two clients together that I think, when I first started getting into matchmaking, that's what I thought. I thought, okay, this woman has some traits that he likes. The man has some traits that the woman will like. Boom, it's going to work. But then I realized, oh, wait, nope. There's another factor. Some of these matches aren't working when they should be. What's going on? No one's considering the psychology of dating. And I know people think astrology is not a big thing, but astrology plays a huge part. Psychology plays a huge part. So I started checking the psychology of my clients, right? And I also started checking their their zodiacs, because zodiac does play a part. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, but now I'm looking at Demson Idris. Demson Idris is a Virgo. You know who is Capricorn's? You know who's Capricorn's soulmate? Taurus and Virgo.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't.
Capricorn is our soulmate is Taurus and Virgo.
Listen, let me tell you. Listen.
You can get by with a little bit of Leo, but they got to be Virgo acting.
Listen, see, so I don't want to give too much crazy pushback against astrology, because see, I'm a physics, biology, science, borderline psychology. Like, it is there.
Astrology is science.
But hold on, wait, what?
Astrology is a science.
No, we're not. Okay, we're not.
It's built on like astrophysics and psychology.
No, we're not going to do that. It is absolutely. Oh, y'all.
It's not. Hold on. It's not.
Don't derail this. Please don't derail this.
Is it astronomy a science? That's a subject.
Astronomy,
right?
And astrophysics, and not astrology.
Astrology derives from astronomy, the planet.
I will listen. Don't do this tonight.
Look, okay. Before we go into that, I want to.
Can we not go into?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Can we not go into that?
I don't want to go pull,
because I'm with Letisha on this. But
do y'all want to do this? Do y'all want me to go pull Neil deGrasse Tyson, every notable physicist that there is, and they will tell you that y'all are reaching for the stars, and no pun intended. That is, listen.
Okay.
Listen. If you listen, put it like this: I won't totally dismiss something basically because I don't believe it. But when you say science is repeatable and provable by anybody that practices it. Astrology is not repeatable and provable by everybody that practices it. I can tell you, I've dated some Aquarius.
So you can't put a group of Leos in the room and know they all Leos?
Let me tell you something. If I wouldn't have told y'all I was a Capricorn, you wouldn't have had no clue.
Yes, I would.
You want to say that because I said it. But I'm telling you right now, we can get 1,000 people. We can get 1,000 people to say, "Hey, answer 3 questions." Hey, listen, astrology isn't exact.
Capricorns are arrogant. Capricorns think they know it all.
We don't think we know it all.
Resilient.
We do know it all.
Ambitious. See, anytime you tell a Capricorn you think you know it all, we always say, "I do," and I can admit that about myself. I do. I know that.
That's fact.
So now I'm gonna ask for a reading. What sign am I?
Tell me what sign this man is.
I don't know. I'm not a psychic, but I know mine well enough to know just from our interactions that I could tell.
Yeah, I don't know, Frank. I don't know you well enough, Frank. And I could give you a reading because I
Oh, no. Okay. We listen. We need to come back to this. I promise you.
This isn't the show for that. We'll save that for another day.
Because I guarantee you, this is gonna go berserk. Because I'm gonna tag some of my astrology loving friends.
It's helped me in my matchmaking business, and it's made my work easy.
So I will say this about it: enough people do subscribe to the ideology, the pseudoscience, or enough people do subscribe to it enough to where I do think in what you do, it is a necessary factor to consider. Absolutely. I mean, and I'm not one that's going to deny similarities.
I don't need my clients to believe in it or to subscribe to it. They don't even know I'm doing it. They don't know that I'm matching them.
But most people, if you ask 9 out of 10 people, about 7 out of 8 are gonna say, "Oh man, yeah, my sign is this."
They know their sign, but a lot of people don't subscribe to it at all because they do think it's junk. But this is one thing you have to consider: if the world we live in can be changed by changes in the moon and celestial beings,
don't do this.
I am going to do it. If our oceans and weather and all of this things can be transformed in these ways by the celestial beings surrounding us, and our bodies are literally built with the same makeup of the planet we're on, you really mean to tell me you don't think there's a possibility?
Wait.
No.
Oh, wait. Hold on. What you did? Well, hold on. You asked that. You said, "Do I really think there's a possibility?"
Yeah.
Yes.
At least a possibility.
A possibility that a percent of a percent of a percent of a percent. Yes.
Now you're doing too much.
No. Because let's be clear. The way matter and mass affects mass. Do you know how big the moon is? That it affects the tides and how big the Earth is compared. You think your little small body is affected the same way the water on a planet that has mass that you can't even quantify?
Women's bodies literally can transition to having their cycles when the moon is full. Are you kidding
me? Amen, Chef. Yes, tell him.
Come on. Yes. Our bodies are 70% water, just like our planet.
Okay. No. I'm talking about your moods. I'm not about so you think your moods are Mercury retrograde is affecting moods?
No, our personality traits. I think you're
adding stuff I didn't say.
Yeah, you're confusing moods with personality.
So why can't it be proven? Why can't it be proven if it's real?
Okay,
it should be
so
like gravity. We can prove mass. We can prove gravity. We can prove.
You gotta be quiet so she can answer your question.
Yeah, how do we prove it? Because it hasn't. Because no science on Earth has done it yet.
How do you explain you have people born under the same sign who share similar traits, but they don't know each other, never been around each other?
Easy.
They may not even have the same environment, but they share similar traits.
Watch this. All human beings have more in common than they do different.
Oh, God.
All human beings ever in the history. No, that's the absolute. All human beings in the history.
This how I know you're a Capricorn right here.
No, all human beings in the history of humanity have more in common than they do uncommon. There we go. It's just that simple.
I'm in a relationship with the Capricorn, and you're acting just like him.
Like, he loves you.
I'm a Leo, and I have almost exclusively dated Capricorn for the most of my life.
And you've been blessed.
No, that's not why. Literally, the reason was when I was in my early 20s, I realized how much of a how kind of not flighty, but I could be very
idealistic.
No, not even that. It was just I couldn't focus. Okay. I had to be in front of things. I had to take the risks. I had to be the person that always kind of thought outside the box. To create balance, I dated Capricorns. Because the Capricorns are the direction that would keep me directed. And I literally did that on purpose. Because I experienced that first Capricorn. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm grounded. I can kind of be my, reckless self a little bit, but not too much because he gonna pull me back. And that was how I dated.
Y'all, okay, wait. See, here's what's crazy. Do y'all know what happens when Capricorns date Capricorns?
It can be a great match.
Wait, see,
great relationship.
Wait. So this is my experiences. I avoid Capricorns for one reason alone. We don't hold each other accountable. See, Capricorns, from my experience, they get so outside of themselves, ain't nobody gonna check nobody. You want to take that ride? We gonna take that ride. You want to take that drink? We gonna take that drink. You want to go to that part? They don't do nothing but enable each other's shit. No Capricorn is checking the other Capricorn. It's very
like my grandparents.
It's high highs and low lows, because when ain't nobody checking nobody, y'all are always into the most extremes of the extremes. So everybody's experiences in this astrology world are so different. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because I was dating January Capricorn.
January Capricorns tend to be more grounded than December Capricorns.
Exactly.
Oh wow, man! See, y'all
let me know. Y'all get back to Lori.
Okay, let's bring back to Lori. Because I did have something to say, and we got on this subject first.
Okay, so my next question about Lori, and I think y'all gonna already shoot this down. But okay, so I want to ask if women should follow in Lori's footsteps, but I want to kind of I think I have something else I want to play from Lori real quick. Let me see.
Because first of all, this is my first time hearing you speak.
Okay, yeah,
I love it. She has such a dope personality. I feel like people don't think that, especially because you're so beautiful. They probably don't think like, what's her person? How would you describe your personality?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm very laid back and chill. I have a little, crazy side. Every now and then, behind closed doors.
That's her shitty.
Yeah, and my friends say I'm pretty funny, so I have a pretty cool sense of humor.
I hear you're very funny.
You seem like you're really cool, and we could go have drinks and stuff.
We could definitely go get drinks.
Don't you bring him.
Lonnie, keep him out.
I'm trying to sneak out with my man in the bed.
Exactly.
Leave him at home.
I love what Lonnie just.
So my question is, okay, like, look at her personality. She's bubbly. She doesn't present herself as a ratchet. She doesn't present herself as a city girl. And she doesn't seem like she's gonna pop up in a Glorilla video. You're not gonna see her twerking. So to some degree, can women kind of follow in her footsteps? Because her presentation, her physical presentation, and when she speaks, or the few times that she does, I don't hear anything that makes me say, oh, hell no.
Absolutely not. People have to navigate where they stand. Lori Harvey is here for most folks. She has money, she has access, she has celebrity. Most women don't have that. So navigating in a way a celebrity does is no different from when we're talking about the dudes complaining about Bezos' divorce when they're in a totally different tax bracket.
Right.
You can't move how celebrities move. She's the one who has lawyers sending folks NDAs. Most women aren't doing that. Many women do not have the capabilities to be able to afford that. So I don't think following in her footsteps is advisable. Number one, she's dating very publicly, and she's dating in a very small circle. And say, like my hometown here in Augusta, the running gag is you boyfriend-in-laws, because about 3 dudes dating the same woman. So when you're in a small arena like that, you can't move like that because everybody knows your business. And if you claim to be this private woman, how can you when everybody done seen you do everything? So I don't think women should follow in her footsteps. Now, if you are in that area with her where you can basically afford to be a little messy because you're famous, navigate yourself accordingly. But for your average woman, no, ma'am, you need to be a little choosy and I think men should too. Men shouldn't be out here being community dick either. Just like women are letting different men into their spirits, men are doing the same thing. And we wondering why we have this whole generation of people, men and women don't like each other no more. It's because y'all done threw yourselves to everybody. You have all of these spirits in you. And nobody's wanting to kind of figure that out and hold themselves accountable. Like, hey, I should probably, fall back, stay in my space and look for that moment where I meet a woman and it just clicks. Not trying to date everybody, but looking for that moment where it clicks because it's out there. I don't think of it as love at first sight so much as it's you meet somebody and it becomes easy to just vibe with them.
Gorgeous cover. It is the January.
And I don't think a lot of people spend time on just matching a vibe versus, well, I'm going to date for quantity and hopefully quality will fall into play.
Repeat that again. Repeat that one more time.
Many people date for quantity and hope quality falls into play instead of just looking for the vibe. Where does the vibe? Because I saw a post today where a woman said being a good man just isn't enough. And I agree. Because a good man is the basics. Do we vibe? Are we compatible? Do we make each other feel safe? All of those things are just as important as being a good man. But you got too many people out here, well, I'm just going to date and see what happens. No,
playing the numbers game, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective. Playing the numbers game is like going to the playground. You have fun, but are you really getting good exercise? Probably not, because you're not focused. You're just running around. You're just doing what you want to do, and you're just having a blast. Do people need a phase of recklessness? Man, I don't know. I don't know if people need that, because the results from a phase of living reckless can alter everything going forward for you. So when I asked the question, that's what made me think about the question: should women follow in Lori Harvey's footsteps? Because she has things at her disposal. Sheffy, you mentioned that she has NDAs, lawyers. She can put things out there that stop a whole lot of nonsense from even coming her way. I, as a man, if I'm playing the numbers game, the odds are going to catch up with me, because I don't have the resources to stop the odds from catching me. So if you're out there as a man and you're playing recklessly, how long is it before you end up with a baby mama? How long is it before you end up with two? How long is it before you end up with the one that's going to wreck your life because you was moving a certain way? So you're absolutely right that the data mall, the quantity thought process and hoping quality is going to fall in there somewhere, that will catch your ass. So I think if those are the footsteps that Lori is putting out there, and I don't know if she is, but if that's what people are perceiving, that's not a good thing to follow. Frank, you jump in there. Should women follow in Lori Harvey's footsteps?
Women can do whatever the hell they want to do. But understand that all actions have consequences, whether good or bad. And be willing to accept whichever one come your way. And if you want to, because I don't know if the woman, Lori, is just, people perceive what she's doing as whole hop. Which, just from what we can see, she's just dating. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean, just because she's with these guys doesn't mean that she's screwing them all. So, I think that needs to be a level of understanding that you can do that, but be mindful of the activities that you get into. Now, if you jump out there, you want to date this guy, date that guy, and date this guy, date that guy, and you want to screw them all, then the outcome is not going to be favorable. No matter how many ways you shuffle the deck, you know what I'm saying? So you got to live with that reality. So I wouldn't advise my daughters to do it. I'll put it that way. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do outside of my house. No, other people that's not under my care. But I would advise against it. I would advise my daughters against that. I would want them to be more intentional with their time, and not just, oh, I'm just having a good time. Oh, she's just having a good time. She's young and she blah blah blah. No, man. Be intentional, because you don't get that time back that you're just using to have a good time with. You know what I'm saying?
There was when I did that video on the Indian matchmaking, that lady said that. She said, in my young years in New York, she had all these men that were checking for her, that were looking for her, and everything else. And then later, as she was coming into age, she's like, the men aren't lined up like they used to be, and the quality bachelors based on what I want the guys that were there, were consistent back then, that were present back then. Now I want those guys, and they're gone. And she was literally, Netflix struck it and blocked it, and eventually I had to take it down from YouTube. But essentially, she was saying that, like, I've paid for these, and I'm hoping now on the back end that I get what I want. That woman had to move from New York to Miami when she finally met a guy that she matched with. She had to relocate, and she had the money and resources to relocate from New York to Miami. I can tell y'all now, relocating from New York to Miami will break 90% of the people in this world. It will break you. Even if you can't do it, you ain't built for it. If that man was a doctor down there and she was a professional where she was and she knew she could move down there, he can hold her down, so on and so forth. Letisha, should women follow Lori Harvey's footsteps? I kind of know what you're gonna say, but I need you to go ahead and give it to us.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm like, she's 26 and she has, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, I'm old school. I'm like, having this many men that you've slept with, right? You can't tell me that she hasn't slept with these men because they were long-term relationships. So I'm not even talking about Justin or Diddy, because she's even admitted that the Diddy thing was people put that on her. That wasn't true. Okay. But you've got Future, right? There's no way you can't tell me Future was not hitting that. Okay, so we got Future, then we got Michael B. Jordan, and then now we have Damson Idris. That is 3 men in a span of what, 2 years?
No, it's been longer.
No, the first time I heard her was like in 2020. So it's been like,
she was dating Future in 2020.
Right.
Then in 2021,
Michael B. Jordan. They were together for a year.
Yeah.
And then
she just started dating Damon Idris.
No. Her and Dempson just went public. They've been dating before that. So remember, there's a history there, and they start dating long before they go public. And with Capricorn, we're not that public. We gotta get to know you first.
Oh, get a Capricorn bullshit. You know what?
Okay, all right.
Listen. I ain't gonna do you like that. I'm gonna confirm you when I need to confirm you. I ain't go public. I didn't go public about the misses.
We know you just popped up one. He just
popped up married.
He went from
like, wait, what?
Married again to then, oh yeah, I'm married. I said, wait, what happened?
Like, we didn't even know there was no engagement. We didn't see no wedding pictures. Wedding pictures even came like 2 months later.
Didn't even tell me when he got married. And I'm his oldest friend.
And I'm like, I didn't even know he was seriously dating someone. So
what?
So it's like there will be times where, you know, those dynamics were happening long before we found out about it. So that, to me, that's just too many, right? Here's the thing. In this day and age, women still want men to court them. Women still want to feel like a woman, be treated like a woman, be treated like a lady. Men to court them, men to pursue them. Well, in order for men to pursue you, they're going to evaluate your value. And men and women think differently on the dating and mating market. How men evaluate value is completely different than how women evaluate value. Women don't really care about a man's body count, right? Most women need to date a man who has already been shown that he's capable and competent of being with a woman. That most women would only date a man who has history with women. Most men would prefer a woman who doesn't have significant history with men. So when you have a young lady who is moving so casually, so carefree, I don't care how it's 2023. Biology doesn't really change.
The nature of men doesn't change. It hasn't changed.
It hasn't really changed. What they see as valuable has not changed. They're never going to see a promiscuous woman as valuable unless she has something of an added benefit to him outside of her body and her looks. So moving this way, and the fact is, most women, like someone said, most women don't have her social status. They don't have her celebrity. They don't have her network. Like, her network is very valuable to a man. She can open doors. Unlike most women can't. Like, she can call up someone and say, hey, my man needs to take a meeting. Can you take a meeting? Dad, my man needs a job. Can you get him a job? Like, really put him on and get him established. Most women don't really have that network and that capability. So if you're out here moving like a thought, they're going to treat you like a thought. You moving like a 304, they're going to treat you like a 304. He's going to either treat you like a fun time girl, a girl that he's not sure about, or a girl that he consider being in a long-term relationship and marry. And men figure that out very quickly. If
You
he is,
you you did. Let me pause you real quick. You were a little bit nicer than my take because I tell women there's two categories: wife type and everybody else, and everybody else. But go ahead.
yeah, but there's that. See, there is that
There's
in
the middle ground. There's the middle ground.
yeah, there's that in between where men who aren't sure exactly as to what they want until they find it, right?
Yeah.
So if you have some attributes and some qualities and they're like, the vibe is right, they'll put you in that box. But if you are putting yourself out there moving like her at 26, she's not 40 years old. She's 26, only 26. So to have, and then we know that those aren't the only men. Like she's been engaged before. She got engaged when she was like, what, 20, 21? Mm-hmm. So to have this extensive of a history, if I had a son, I would tell my son, she's a red flag. She would be a red flag. This is a woman who, based on how she moves and the decisions she's making, are you sure that you would want this type of woman who has this type of judgment, poor decision making? Would you want her as a wife? I don't think that's something that's going to necessarily change. And I'm not saying she's a bad person, because she's probably not. But the way she's moving, I would not suggest any young girl to move like this, because you don't have her celebrity, you don't have her status, you don't have her money. And men will judge you, and they will judge you harshly, and they're very unforgiving, especially successful men, because it seems that's what all the women want, is a man of means, of some type of money and status, and they're going to judge you, and they're going to judge you harshly. And your decisions have consequences, and unfortunately the way men, especially black men, think, it's hard for them to get past that unless you have some additional added value.
I think one of the things to consider is not maybe. There are some women looking at Lori Harvey and they're saying to themselves, yes, girl, get our lick back. They are literally looking at it as finally some woman is making men shake and move. She's the dog, and she's wagging the tail, and it ain't the other way around. So they're championing that. And I think when they champion that, when older women champion that, younger women are looking at them champion that. See, I don't think, and it's no different than older men. When older men champion being a player, being a a man hoe, doing that, when we say that's dope, like we fist pound that, we brag that up, young men say, oh man, I got to make sure I check that off. So when women do the same thing, no matter who it is, it could be a celebrity, it could be whoever. When y'all champion that, when y'all put that on a pedestal, younger women are going to say, I got to make sure I got to get my weight up. I got to match that. I think that's what is somewhat dangerous about what we see going on, how it's affecting the culture overall.
And that's the sad part, because you have women who actually went through that and choosing wrong, and then now they're older and they're bitter, they're lamenting about what they should have, could have done. I put a post up speaking about the Lori Harvey situation, and I don't know if you saw my well, but there was a long back and forth with a woman who is in my age group, and I'm trying to, the fact of the matter is I deal with women who are 40, 50 plus. And they are like, it's heart-wrenching to have to tell them, like, listen, is your strategy, it's not impossible, but it does make it more
improbable.
It makes it much more difficult. Like, the dating market has changed significantly within the last 5 years. It's moving very quickly. The trends are changing. And so now you have an opportunity to tell young girls, like, hey, don't be like me, don't do it like me. And if you want marriage, if you don't want marriage, in your heart, marriage is not for you. And that's a very small segment of women who don't want marriage. By all means, do how you want. But if you know that marriage is going to be in your future, you want to have children. And that's the biggest part, is there are a lot of millennial women who are wanting to have children, but they can't find a man to pair up with and get married in order to have children. So now I'm dealing with, and now you got 40, 50 plus women, 50-year-old women who've never had experienced motherhood, because they never got the opportunity to get married. So if you want marriage, you want a family, you need to think long and hard about how you're out here moving. And Lori did say that she wants marriage and children someday. So she needs to think about how she's moving.
I think what needs to be known is that, and I'm glad you said that men value what they place this value on is different from what women place value on. Speaking for the average everyday guy, we don't want to be we don't want to walk into the room and I can't remember if you said it earlier before, Manuel, or not, but if you did, I'm gonna reiterate. We don't want the girl that everybody else had. You know what I'm saying? Like part of what we value is being the only one that is at least known to have been with that girl or to be with that girl. So my wife is from the Bahamas, and she moved here in her early 20s to get married. She met her ex-husband while she was still living in the Bahamas. So when she got here, she knew absolutely nobody, and she was married to him for I think like 8 years. And I met her while they were separated, heading for a divorce. And we started dating right around the time she got divorced. So she stayed low key, and she kept her head down and supported her kids because he left, right? So that's absolute. Outside of Facebook, she had a large following on Facebook, but no guy could say I was with that before you, because she went from coming from the Bahamas to America. Nobody knew who she was married for 8 years, and then we started dating a couple of months after she divorced. So there was nobody in between that could say, "Damn, you with her? Damn, nigga, I was too. Damn, you with her? Damn, nigga, I was too." And so I pride myself on that as being, yeah, nigga, she ain't been with a lot of niggas, and you damn sure ain't one of them. So can't nobody say that, yeah, I've been with her. No, you didn't fit in that time frame. So that's a value that a lot of men have, being able to say, ain't nobody else been here, and we don't want to tread where others footprints has been left. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you pointing that out, because that's why I would advise my daughters not to move the way that Lori is moving, because I don't want them to be that girl. Matter of fact, I told them this too. There's two ends of a spectrum, because I have 3 in high school, 1 is 22, 3 in high school, and the other in middle school, on her way to high school next year. And I told them, you don't want to be that girl that everybody know. Be the one on the end of the spectrum that is known for, nigga, if you got her, you that nigga.
Bro. I mean, obviously we friends for a reason, because I share the same thing to my daughters. Their mother, I can say her name. You can look her up on social media. I can say Latoya Hill, and anybody can go look. She has a boyfriend. She had an ex-husband, me. And in the streets of Atlanta, and you can't find all these people. And I told my daughters, I said, I'll make this very simple for you. Emulate her. Her name, people just can't run her name ain't falling out of people's mouth. I said, be the girl in high school that when a guy gets your number, the other guy's gonna be like, what? When somebody actually has been to your home and met your family, what? Like, it has to be a shocking. I mean, and men, unfortunately, and I know women hate this. Men get to move in ways in which you guys don't. Men also don't take the hit to our reputations that you guys do if things go left. I've seen, man, this y'all won't, bro.
With that whole case with that police officer. Everybody got memes for her, but no heat for the dude.
No, man, listen, let me tell you. I'll be honest. Somebody want to comment on it, that's fine. I've been blasted on the internet before. Now, not on the internet, but I've been blasted inside of a Facebook group for moving one way. I won't confirm or deny what actually took place. However, a woman couldn't have stood there and took that. Because if a woman would have got blasted like I would have got blasted, that woman's inbox wouldn't have blown up. My inbox still was like bloop, 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 bloop.
I disagree. I disagree.
I'm not saying, listen. Let me tell you.
Dudes move real greasy.
Let me tell you the difference in the blow up. When a woman inbox blows up, dudes want their turn. When a man's inbox blows up, women are like, oh my gosh, she is tripping. I would never. And it's a different, it's just a different, our reputations are different. It's even why a lot of husbands, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to let Letisha speak. It's even why a lot of husbands preserve their wives' reputations when everything goes left. Everybody says husbands need to put them on blast, tell. A lot of men don't, because a woman's reputation can't stand up to the scrutiny that a man's will. Because society, whether we feel it's fair or unfair, the reality is society puts a red letter on women that sticks. And men, all you gotta do is go make some more money. That's it.
But,
and nobody will care.
You do have to factor in the women that don't care. Because there are a lot of women, and that's growing. That number of women is growing. Well, they don't care about that reputation because
until they do.
Until they do, fair.
Yeah.
But you have your women who follow the Kim Kardashian model, and they do okay with it. I mean, look at Corinne Steffen. She done changed her name, got a baby on the way. For some women, it works.
But is she happy? I mean, I know we don't know.
I don't know.
We have the matchmaker. We have the matchmaker here. That's why we have the matchmaker. Are they happy?
And look at the type of guy that she's now having to deal with. Like, this is not the same guy that she was used to dealing with, right? Those men had their fun with her, and now it's like no one's gonna take you seriously. Now you've got to get a man who is way down on the totem pole of the caliber of men that you're used to dealing with to marry you, Columbus Short. And even that didn't work out because he went crazy and left on her. Now you got this man, and then she's crying on social media because where is he? Right? She's pregnant. Where is he? So it's like she hasn't really learned her lesson.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you can get a sucker to marry you. But he's not. Does it really count if he's not really who you truly want? It's at this point, it's like she knows that her number is up, and now her lane has changed. The new girl in town is Brittany Renner. Now she's got to, if she wants a man, she wants marriage, she wants children, she's got to deal with the men who actually want her now as she is. So
let me tell you what's crazy. I would almost suggest, no, I'm not going to almost, I'm going to absolutely suggest this. Watch this. It's better for you as a woman to marry young, have children. And if it fails, move on. Get back out there and recycle. I'm telling you now, because when you get back out there, there's a little bit of, there's things that men consider. One, she was married. For how long? 10 years. They're going to presume married 10 years, all them kids by that man. She got kids, but they're by one man who she was married to. And it's been 10 years. maybe she got a little exclusivity to her. And here's the other thing that everybody ain't considering: that man ain't under no pressure to pop a bunch of kids into her. Man, it's a whole different world. Like, and so it's almost better to try it out and show that you're willing to. You show that I'm willing to be married. You show that I'm willing to go there. You show that I can hold it down. And if it fails, it fails. Women, I mean, hell, women, y'all been winning in divorce over men since forever. So right now, not for long. No, that's changing. It's changing under y'all's nose. Y'all ain't winning like y'all used to. But the whole point is, it's better to have a divorce under your belt than a whole bunch of singledom and a reputation. Sheffy, you gonna be just fine. You married to a military man.
I mean, I know I'm gonna be fine anyway. Because
put that shoulder up. I tell you that. Put that shoulder up. Put that shoulder up. You got a shoulder out too. Put that shoulder up. What do y'all think this is?
Whatever. I mean, it wasn't like it's not. I can't say. I mean, I've dated, but I've dated pretty long term in most of my relationships. So I don't consider myself quote unquote exclusive, but no, there's not a bunch of people out there that can be like, I've been there, I've been there. No, because you're lying, and I don't have no problem with, I got screenshots. I can show what actually happened. So I completely understand that. And being that, my husband and we dated long before we got married, and that whole process has been, going on for almost 20 years. I know for me, that kind of makes my stock a little high. It does. But at the same time, I'm like, I ain't really trying to date like that either. I'm a well-off woman. I like my time. I like my peace. So when I go and say, okay, now I'm separated, we're pending divorce, and I want to date, I'm not necessarily looking for 666.
And you're not under that pressure because you're not under that pressure because you've experienced long-term marriage. You've been through the ups and downs. You have a career. You have a career man, and you have your children. The pressure for you is going to be way different from a woman that doesn't have those experiences. And when they hear you even talk about it, they might be like, well, it didn't work out for you. And they might say, see, that's another one that didn't get married. But in their closets, they're crying, saying, oh my God.
And that's exactly what happened. So I was 20 when I got married. We were married for almost 11 years by the time we divorced. And I was off the dating market for a while due to health issues. And then got out there. I didn't feel the pressure. It was like, okay, if I don't meet the right, by the time I hit, I'm 43 now. I think by the time I hit 41, baby fever died down again. I had a bout of baby fever in my late 30s, but baby fever died down. And I was like, listen, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I could just enjoy just dating because I've been there, done that. I was married, and I was married for almost 10 years. I was a wife, and I have my child. And now I'm like, she's grown. I don't know if I want to do that again. So it wasn't any pressure. Whereas a woman who has never been married, doesn't have any children, that pressure is very, very different.
And then I didn't get married till I was in my 30s because we had my son. I was 33. We got married when I was 34. But here's a man I had known since I was 23. And I know the day I laid eyes on him, I'm going to marry him one day. I knew that. Even though we broke up, dated other people, the whole nine. So I agree, it takes people thinking about when they date someone, when you look at this person, a lot of people I think are thinking about the moment, the now. When I met my husband, I thought about the future, like from day one. I knew no matter what happened, we were growing up with each other, but I knew if we broke up, we'd end up back together. I knew I was going to marry that man one day. So we continued to stay we stayed friends the whole time, even when we were broken up. But I think most people date with the intention of, if it doesn't happen right now, it's never going to happen. And then they end up inviting a whole bunch of other new people into their spaces. And now you're having to deal with all of these different personalities, these different energies, when the energy that was probably for you, you kind of dismissed back here just because it didn't work out in that moment. When you're dating young, sometimes things aren't going to work out in that moment because you're still learning yourself. The person is still learning themselves. But have you established enough of a connection with this person that it's something you would revisit down the line? Like you have people say all the time, well, oh, I'd never date my ex. There is not I only have like 1-2 exes of my entire life that it'd be an absolute no. Everybody else, if they came back to me now, I'd give them a try. Just because I was very selective in the guys that I brought into my space in the first place. If it wasn't somebody I saw something long-term with from the very beginning, if they didn't have those qualities from the very beginning, I didn't even deal with them. I didn't deal with men who had children, because most of the guys I dated had kids. If they weren't good fathers, if they weren't active fathers, paying child support, seeing their kids on a regular basis. If you had kids and you weren't doing, nope. Because I wanted to see what that man was capable of, even in an instance of, well, I had a child with a woman and it didn't work out. Okay, are you still a productive father? That's important to me because that lets me know the quality, the character that you present to your children. All of those things are part of it. Are you a driven man? I don't care how much money you make, because a driven man is never broke, by the way. Are you always looking at ways to better yourself, to drive your own career? Are you vocal in social issues? All of those things were the things that were important to me. I didn't look at dollar amounts. Didn't even necessarily look at looks. How do you make me feel? Do I feel safe in your presence? Do I feel physically safe? Being a weapon, concealed weapon permit carrier, that was a turn on for me. Like, I need to know that safety is a priority for you, because it is for me.
Hold on.
What?
So can we now segue into all this smoke? Into all this smoke I caught today.
Don't do that. But things like that are kind of when I got out of the situation of dating men where I was just navigating whatever they gave me, which was one thing that came from just me not having a father in the home growing up. Once I got past that, it was like, okay, these men need to have these qualities, and me look at them in a long-term way, even if they were only there for a season. That way, I would only navigate with men that I saw a future with. Period.
Okay. So that brings me to this. Should women as a collective expect, now I'm wording this very carefully, and I want Letisha to answer first, because I know we got her on the clock, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying for her time. I'm lying, but I know it's not gonna be long before. Should women as a collective expect protection from men as a collective? That's one. And also, what does that protection look like? So it's almost a twofold question, because I gotta bring it in. Should women as a collective expect protection from men? And what does that look like? Letisha, you go first.
Yes, I do, because that's the whole basis of you guys taking the lead role, and that's a role that you all assign for yourselves. So if you're going to say you're a protector, a leader and a protector, then women should have the expectation and depend on you for that expectation. And that's what makes for society to be more civil, and makes the relations and the dynamic between men and women stronger, because we know that, although there's some of y'all that are just crazy out here moving foul, overall society is a safer place, based on the fact that men are willing to step in and protect women. So yes, women, the expectation that men should protect the collective. It makes for a safer, stronger, better society. What that protection looks like, and I'm going to speak for Black men, that means doing a lot of gatekeeping. What y'all say to us is what y'all say to us, but allowing outsiders to say it, inviting outsiders to come in and degrade us, going into mixed company, having these conversations about Black women, that's a form of protection. You see how they did to that passport bro, Austin Hollerman, how them Brazilian men got him up out of there, even though all he said was, these women are easier to deal with than American women. And they're like, nah, you're not going to disparage our women like that. I think Black men need to do the same thing. China, with the basketball player who was in the strip club and he put that out there on social media, what they do? No, you're not. We can do it to our women, but you can't do it to our women. And then what they don't do is they also don't publicly disparage the women in mixed company, right? Another way to protect is when you see something, you do something. I get it that sometimes men can't physically step into a situation because it's dangerous. But how about have these conversations with men and young boys and young men and telling them that, hey, just because she has a dress on and you like the way she look in it, that doesn't mean you get to touch her. That doesn't mean you get to disrespect her. Just because she's not feeling your energy doesn't mean you get to disrespect her, right? Start raising your boys to be gentlemen and respecting womanhood rather than treating womanhood as something that they're entitled to. So that's
amen. Hallelujah.
Listen. I'm gonna put the clapper on that. For a lot of part, I agree. Now, does that mean when we say something that we don't like, that we don't agree with, that they will say, you know what, we'll get in line? Because, hey, I don't care what organization in society we're discussing. I don't care what. I mean zero. If y'all are fool enough to think that any woman in any society thinks that they can publicly say that they disagree with whatever the standards are or the behaviors are of their men, y'all think they can say that, move how they want, and still get that treatment?
So
no, wait, hold on, and not when I'll give a very good point. My wife mentioned something a while back about bonnets in airports. She damn near went viral on social media. Was telling women, hey, put up the bonnets in airports. Don't show up wearing your pajamas. They tore her up. If I say the same thing and I agree, they'll tear me up too. And I'm supposed to protect the image of them.
See, again, protection is not control. It's no different than when. Let me finish.
With an element of control, it actually does.
It can come with an element of control, but that doesn't mean that element is actually going to be factual. So, at the end of the day, when Black men come under fire for different things in the media, Black women immediately rush to the rescue.
Y'all are out of y'all damn mind.
Are you
yes.
No, I'm talking about mixed company. Hold on, let me finish. I'm talking about mixed company. I ain't talking about Among Us now. That's different. Because Among Us, we move a little different.
Right. On a case-by-case basis, yes, some Black women sit and say those are, but just like Black men do on a case-by-case basis. I witnessed this. I witnessed with my eyes when others have something to say. Black women have often said, "See, they don't fuck with y'all either." I've seen this.
That's still the minority. That is still the minority.
Oh, okay, so
the minority, the majority.
Okay,
but again,
do we know who's the minority or the majority? Do we actually know?
But you ain't let me finish about the whole control right now. He's been a typical
okay.
You're not even giving anybody a chance to talk.
Okay, so
on the whole control piece.
Explain it to me.
Because you won't be quiet. Okay, so on the whole control piece, there are going to be some things. It's no different than your children. We are, as parents, protect our kids, but our kids do not 100% do everything we have told them to do.
What happens when they don't?
Now, my son, he's 18. He'll be 19 in a couple of weeks. To my knowledge, he lives with his girlfriend, but to my knowledge, he's still a virgin because we have taught him how to respect his body, to not do anything he's not ready for, and in turn, he respects hers. Like, they literally put a pillow in between them in the bed. It's so cute. But, you know, at the same token, when he decided to go to college, he went a totally different route than we had discussed. It wouldn't have been a route I suggested for him, but I had to let him make that decision for himself. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop protecting him because he's still my son.
No, y'all are misconstruing what I'm saying.
No, we're not misconstruing it.
Yes.
Protection Protection may have a level or a piece of control that you want to put on, but at the same time, people are still individuals. Now, I expect protection from people as a collective. It's not, for me, it's not just men, because I don't just protect men or black men. If I see somebody hurt, I'm going to help. And that's just me being a decent human being. I expect human beings to protect each other. Period. That's just, again, just me. So for me, protection is a little bit different, because it's like, I'm not going to say certain things that I know are hurtful. I'm not going to share certain like videos. People share videos of people getting killed and things like that for likes. And it's like, no, I'm protecting this space as much as I can with what I have access to. No, everybody's not going to do everything the way I want it done, because if the world was the way I wanted it to be, we'd be a lot nicer to each other. There'd be a bunch of marriages, a bunch of two-parent households, and a whole shebang. But again, control is not necessarily a part of protection. You want it to be, but at the same time, it's not necessarily realistic.
What? It is the most realistic facet of protection. Yo, listen, in all of philosophy, in all of religion, in everything that you, in military, in school, in every organized capacity of relations when it comes to humans relating, there's an element control that comes with. You go outside without an umbrella.
Humanity ain't organized.
Wait. There's a if you get an umbrella and it's raining, right? If you go outside and it's raining and you don't want to get wet, what do you need to protect you from that? A raincoat and an umbrella. If you take your ass outside without an umbrella, you're going to get wet. If you remove yourself from the umbrella of protection of the men who you're aligned with, you're going to catch something. It is what it is. Y'all are outside of your gorge. Listen, and I'm saying this, self-preservation is the first thing that human beings start to evolve from. We don't get to where we are without self-preservation. If you actually think that y'all are running around here not preserving y'allself and protecting black men, y'all have lost it. Y'all not protecting black men by and large to the point to where they're not catching shrapnels of criticism or bullets. Y'all are not doing that. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that unless people align with them. That is my point. You gotta align. So when I say what does protection look like, you can't just say because of the color of my skin, I expect brothers to do it. I'm sorry. My son bet not jump off the porch for the wrong one unless he's aligned with her. If he jumps off,
therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem.
He's got a
no, it is a problem because we have lost common decency. That's why. Now I'm not saying he should go take a bullet. Nobody said that.
Do you remember that? Did you read that article? Did you read that article you shared on my post, Sheffy? Did you read it?
Which one? Oh, which one?
You shared on my post.
Which article? I shared lots of stuff.
Okay, the article you shared on my post about the girl getting shot. Did you read it?
I didn't share that article. I just told you about it. Somebody else shared it. But I've read other articles.
In that particular article about that particular girl, somebody said that this girl wasn't protected. She got shot. And that's very unfortunate. I'm not talking about somebody's death casually. But in that article, it was said that her boyfriend said, let's go. They chose to stay. After they chose to stay and wait on food, that car was shot up.
Okay, but here I gotta say this because I have to leave real quick.
There is an element of control. There's a big element of control.
For some reason, y'all want to control women when it comes to protection, but women aren't trying to control men because when out there, who was out there when on the front lines trying to protect black men, marching for black men, advocating for black men? Every time there's an issue with the police. When I was marching when the George Floyd situation happened, let's see, it was mostly women.
Black men wasn't marching for Sandra Bland.
It was both.
No,
black men were going nuts for Sandra Bland.
You're men and women.
No, nobody's okay. Just because she's pointing out that we did doesn't mean you didn't. So stop doing that.
Because majority of those protesters were women, and the fact is, women don't feel as if they need to align with the men specifically in order to protect black men from the injustices of society. Even when those black men could technically, quote unquote, be seen doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They're not listening, right? They're not listening in some of these situations. But Black women aren't up there questioning, well, you didn't listen. No, Black women are sitting there.
And I'm saying they're fools.
They're fools. No, I know that, but I'm speaking to your point where you're saying Black men should only protect women when they're lying with them, whereas Black women don't have that same mindset. We have a more community mindset to where
we don't.
I don't have to know you personally, but if I see something, if I know something is going on, I'm going to do something. Like if there is man, Black women will try to step in between two Black men to protect a Black man. Okay,
that's dumb, and y'all need to stop.
But it doesn't matter.
So here's where I think what you're saying can fit in. Now, protection in general, I think is just human decency. Period. Point blank. And that doesn't mean taking a bullet for somebody. It could mean you see something happening, you call the cops. It doesn't necessarily mean jumping in front of nothing and risking your life.
And that's
it can just mean you trying to intervene in some way that's helpful to that person while also protecting yourself. Let me finish. Let me finish.
What protection looks like.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. You hush so I can tell you. So for the jumping in front of bullets and stuff, I agree with that being somebody you align with. I completely agree, because that person may be more meaningful to you, where you do, want their safety to be protected in such an extreme manner. So protection is a spectrum. It's a spectrum based on how aligned you are with that person. But protection in general is still a human decency.
Say that again. Letitia's got to go. We gotta let her go. Let's say good night to her, and I'm gonna let.
Thank you so much, Letisha. Even though Manuel would be quiet for most of the time, he was trying to talk.
It was great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we gotta do it again. Absolutely.
We definitely gotta do it again. You guys have a good night. Take care.
You too.
So yeah, I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you that protection is a spectrum, yes, but basic protection is human decency, and largely in part of why we have the problems we have now. People are so quick to pick up a camera phone and record so they can post instead of just helping somebody. Why am I learning about this? Because child, look at this. This is a shame. Why aren't you helping?
Okay, let me elaborate. Now, I'm not saying at no point in my rant did I say zero. I didn't say that men don't need to. I said if women align with a certain caliber, because if you expect something, you need to make sure you're in agreement so that expectation can be met, right?
That's fair. But that's also the only place that control can happen. That's the only place it can happen. It can't happen at this end of the spectrum, only on the spectrum where you're aligned. So I'll give you that. I don't have a problem with meeting you halfway. If I'm with a guy and he say, let's go, I ain't asking no questions. I'm gone.
Yep. Pick up your bag. I'll buy you a new bag. I know you left your bag's on the bench. I'm going to buy you a new one. What if I was in that bag? I'm going to get you a new one. Now, but now and I'm going to meet you. What you're saying, listen, advice goes a long way. And I think what a lot of Black men struggle with is, especially when we're asked, I will never forget this, and I won't put her name out there. Sister that I was very close with asked me about a guy. She asked me about this specific guy and said, he's shooting his shot. What should I do? I kept it 100 with her because she was my sister. And I said, listen, if you're considering this guy for something serious, don't. If you want to just have your fun, have your fun. She said, okay. And I said, but listen to what I'm saying. I said, you don't want to do A and B. I'm not going to you don't want to do A and B with this guy. Leave that alone, but do anything else you want to do. This woman flies cross country, does A and B. This guy has her name taken off of the hotel. She has to now spend the night in the airport and fly back when she can fly back. Now, she probably feels like she was unprotected. Oh, she felt abandoned by a Black man. But guess what? A Black man told her before she went in that situation that here's the blueprint, baby. Just follow these steps. So you gotta align. So that's where protection comes in. Protection isn't all about your image being something that we're going to say, hey, don't say that about them. It's not going to always be jumping in front of a bullet. Take heed to what we're saying. And when you take heed to what we're saying,
just like children, you can tell them it's up to them to listen.
And if they don't,
once you have told them what to do, if they do something different, you have done your job.
And therein lies the frustration, because when part of the collective is telling part of the collective that, hey, this is how we got to move, and then you turn around and see them saying, well, we're going to move like that. And then when we speak on it, they say, well, we don't care what you think. Man, listen, I'm going to tell you what nobody.
But that's when you just let it go. You just let it go.
I 100% agree. And that's when I say, lead them to the wilderness. That's when I say, those ones, you can't expect protection.
Those
how
ones.
Dare you? Yeah,
those
how
ones.
dare you expect protection? Unfortunately, we're not able to parse who the individuals are in these situations. I'm gonna let Frank jump in, because me and you going back and forth. Frank, jump in here real quick. I
was about to go to sleep.
I know you was.
Man, look, matter of fact, I was just talking to my wife about this before we jumped on the call. On the live. Okay, so what I was telling her is, even down to simply giving suggestions or advice, if it contradicts whatever they want, because we are men, we're controlling. It's misogyny, patriarchy. I should be able to do whatever I want to do. Like I was telling her that part of protection or prevention, part of protection is prevention. Matter of fact, that's the first step. Trying to prevent you from having to be protected. So if we know a certain area and we know a certain element that hangs out in that area, and you're telling us you're planning on going to visit this area, and we'll say, look, you can go wherever you want to go, you've grown. But look here, certain type of people over there, if you present yourself this way, they're going to react that way. I should be able to go over there. Shouldn't nobody be, Okay.
You should be able to do a lot of things, don't mean you can.
That's what I'm saying. But
the thing about that lesson is that shouldn't be a gender-based lesson at all. And I guess maybe because my grandmother kind of had taught me these things.
Your grandmama,
it was when you park your car. If you have to go to the store at night, you park under the lights.
What's your grandmama's name? What was your grandmama's name?
Sheffy.
Sheffy, what? Yeah. So you Sheffy Jr. You baby.
It was always those things. You know, if you do have to go out at night, make sure you don't have to get out of your car as much as possible. Don't travel at night as much. But these were lessons I learned in just protecting myself, period. So if you have an adult woman that you're having to have these type of conversations with, child, let her go on out there and figure that out on her own. But something is wrong where somebody didn't have these conversations with her, or maybe she just think her shit don't stink. I don't know what it is, but there's just a level of personal accountability one should have for themselves that should be above and beyond some man having to protect me. I don't live my life reckless so somebody has to protect me. I live my life very safely, and I trained up my kids in the same manner. This is how you navigate things. If you stuck on the side of a road at night, you stay in that car and call the police, AAA.
You're not so I can automatically, just based on the principles that you're sharing, you're not in that group of those that we're not aligned with. And I say it, and I'm not being casual, and I'm not ass kissing, because I can say this. If I say, for example, and y'all have never seen this ever, never on my timeline, at no point have y'all ever seen me post a video of somebody twerking. Never happened, never will. Y'all have never seen me post back shots, ass shots, anything like that. I don't objectify women. I never have, never will. So I don't have a whole lot of moral high ground. Let's just be clear. But I can stand on that particular thing. So if I tell women, I say, hey, baby girl, it's not good look for you to be posting on social media and every picture I see your ass poked and you're twerking and this, that, and third. You might wanna. And then she tell me to mind my damn business. Bet.
You've done your job.
Right. Now, what can she expect from me going forward?
Nothing.
That's my point. Because we're not aligned.
That makes sense. But again, it's not the facet of control. You can't necessarily control what somebody does so much as it's like, okay, well, if I've expressed something and they're countering it, then
we and that is my whole entire point. It's that, and it's not even that you got to be 100% in lockstep with a man. It's that if he says something and he means it for your good, not being disrespectful. Now, when a man meets you and what you're doing he doesn't find tasteful, and then he wants to be disrespectful in his so-called protection, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm never talking about that. But if he's literally saying, hey, it's not a good look, and if he speaks on it, and then you're like, mind your damn business. Who you think you are? I'm sorry, ma'am. You right, do you? And then when I bend that corner and come back around and something's going left from you, I'm just gonna be like,
but the thing you have to look at in that instance is there's, again, certain protections that are just very basic. Just because a woman is dressed a certain way doesn't mean she is, to be assaulted.
She's not me.
You just stand there and be like, well, you dress like that.
I'm speaking for image. Like you dress a certain way, and then you move in a certain way, you present yourself a certain way, and then you're saying, well, these men want to refer to me or look like, if you present a certain thing on social media, and then men consider you that, and that's what they're saying. No man is supposed to come and say, hey, man, it's nice if a guy said, man, look, man, I know she twerked, I know her ass out, but you don't know that woman. I mean, that's great if he says that, but should you be expecting him to protect your image when you don't?
Yeah, I don't agree with that part at all. For protection, for me, is more along the lines of like what happened with Megan Thee Stallion. She was not believed from the beginning. Oh, it ain't enough evidence. It ain't enough this. When rape and sexual assault happens to women, a lot of men are, well, what did you do? Those are the kind of times when protection is important, because a lot of men victim blame. I think they look at it as, well, I'm not that type of dude, so the collective ain't them type of dudes. Your friends is greasy.
I think what happened with the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lane thing, and I'm gonna let you give your thoughts on it, Frank, real quick. I think what happened is we had this unfortunate divide in this moment that Black men are feeling some way with the way we're portrayed in the media as gun-toting thugs and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Black women are portrayed in the media by others and us and ourselves as ratchet, thoughts, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so you had these two people in the same place at the same time. A gun goes off, so he's identifying the stereotype, and she's who she is as far as image goes, and it's identifying the stereotype. And both want to try to protect the image of the other from the worst case scenario. A man purposely shooting a woman, it's like, what really happened there? And a lot of people are thinking, like, what if this was a Plexico Burris situation where the big dummy just had a gun on him at the wrong? Like, it was so many things swirling around it that nobody wanted to take sides. But when people started to take sides, that's when people started to take sides. So the moment women said, he did it, that's the moment men said, how do you know? Frank, what was your take on that whole, and we wouldn't even want to talk about it, but what was your take on that whole situation and how it just blew up?
Both sides were stupid. Because even before they went to court, they had already drawn the conclusion to what happened.
Yeah.
It was women that said, yeah, he did it. And then in response to that, men was like, you can't say he did because, just because it happened doesn't mean he was the one behind the trigger. pulling the trigger. Right. And then when they finally did go to trial and the stuff started coming out, it was still kind of like conflicting stories. And so the whole situation was muddy. So my position was, I don't give a damn. Y'all, because I don't care about her as an artist, I don't care about him as an artist. Both of them suck to me. So not my time, not my taste in music. So I wasn't that invested. But it was still too muddy to say definitively, yeah, he did it, or no, he didn't do it.
Right.
So for her supporters on one side to say, yeah, he did it, when the situation was still muddy, and then guys on his side saying, no, he didn't. So, and the situation was still muddy. I think it went beyond that case to whatever they was feeling against each other. Both sides. Mm-hmm. Those women on her side and men on that side. It went beyond Tory Lane and Megan Thee Stallion.
Absolutely.
Which was unfortunate, because it was like people like, nah, she made it up. She just cut her foot on some glass. And I'm like, this woman was in the whole hospital getting bullet fragments pulled out her foot, and y'all talking about she lying? Like, this is crazy to me. It don't matter who shot her. Somebody shot her. At least support her in that.
Yeah, there's a major divide. Man, we got to understand that there's a major divide when these public figures, when these pop culture sensations, when these people get into public spaces and something goes down. We are beefing about R. Kelly. And I don't know how people are even beefing about R. Kelly. Like, people are literally beefing about whether he did it or whether he didn't, or why you should listen to his music and why you shouldn't.
Had whole tapes that went around.
Since the 90s.
Like LimeWire, Napster, all of them had all the tapes.
But here's the ugly part about it. When I'm watching my timeline in real time, I'm reading comments and posts from women saying they're not trying to throw him up under the bus. They're going to listen to his music. And on the other side of it, the black men are saying, and we supposed to look at you. You're a woman and you're saying this, and he victimized women. And then there are men who saying, man, they trying to get money. Everybody should go to jail. Let him out because everybody else is out. And the women are saying, these are the type of men that we're supposed to let lead us. The divide
it's a mess.
It's so muddy.
It's a mess. And this is why I say human decency is the problem. We have literally forgotten how to help each other. And it has fallen into this gender divide where women are screaming, protect me, but leave me alone. Let me do what I'm going to do. And then men are like, well, I want to control you, but at the same time, I don't really care what's going on with y'all. And it's like, this is stupid, y'all. This is so stupid. And again, it's probably not even, I don't think it's the majority of people, to be honest.
I don't.
People aren't even talking in these spaces. It's just the loud minority. But the loud minority seems to be becoming the majority because you have all of these people just gender fighting. I love men. I love black men. I want to see all men like have the same rights that y'all say y'all don't have when it comes to women, and vice versa, because it should be not separate but equal, because that's a little bit different, but we should be similar and equal, I would say, as far as gender is concerned. I'm a woman that makes a lot of money. I have a lot of resources, but if I'm with my man, I'm submissive. It just is what it is. I can be a boss here and be sir, yes, daddy, all of that. It just has to be balanced between all of this, and that's where we've lost, I think, a lot of the just flair of what it is to be a man versus a woman. Too many women are trying to be masculine. Too many men are trying to I don't know what it is. It ain't being feminine, but it just ain't being masculine either. So it's just like, I don't know. Why y'all whining so much? That used to be the woman thing.
I want to know too.
It boggles my mind to see. But it's like we arguing about stuff that don't matter. Well, men started, women started. Okay, we all hurt each other. Let's heal.
But women. So here's the crazy thing. to a degree, women are asking men to be a bit more sensitive, feminine, open, whatever these things
Sensitive and feminine ain't the same thing, but
are. It is the same goddamn thing.
It's not.
It's almost.
You can be sensitive and be masculine. You can. We just need y'all to be emotionally available. Start there. You can talk about your emotions and be masculine.
Ralph Tresvant, like, huh?
What you say?
Yeah.
Ralph Tresvant.
Oh
yeah.
no. Oh,
yeah, yeah. You see, no.
That's too much.
I think
that's too much.
I think that divide exists.
Not even Drake. Drake is too much.
And see, you see what I'm saying? Like, but that's the thing. Like, where on the spectrum does it all lie to where each person can say, "All right, this is what it is." Man, don't nobody.
It's whatever works for that person. I mean, you have some men who can lay their emotions on their shoulder and be very confident in how they present themselves. And then there's some woman there that is protecting that emotional space for them. But for another woman who probably doesn't even have emotional intelligence herself, she would see him as soft. I don't see that as soft at all. A man who can say and verbalize, "You hurt my feelings, and I would like to hold you accountable for this."
But this is a man and how he communicates these things in relations to women. Because in the world isn't built for men to go and have their emotions on their sleeve.
And that's fine, because I mean, shoot, the world has barely done that for women. Because the women out here that have their emotions on their sleeves, them emotions ain't really be real half the time. But creating safe spaces for people, period, is something we have just lost. If you look at the community of how Black people,
that's what I'm about to ask.
At one point. If you look back in the communities where Black people were thriving with each other, we had those safe spaces in our community.
I wasn't there, but from what I understand by my elders, stoicism was always a thing. It's just that men dealt with men and women dealt with women. See, there was
neither one. We ain't doing none of that.
Yeah. See, there was a point where when a woman went to church and her slip was showing, that shows I'm old because women wore slips when I went to church. Way back whenever. The man did not go to the woman and say, "Baby, your slip."
Women corrected her.
Thank you. Women checked it.
Yes.
Men ain't have no space. And if a boy was holding his jacket on his arm balled up, my granddaddy would snatch me from here and almost lift me up by my neck. Boy, unball that jacket and straighten me out.
Weak handshakes, if your pants ain't right, all of that.
Absolutely. So it would be wonderful if we were a community to where the genders police the genders enough to the point where we didn't have to cross these lines where men had to hold women accountable, because I don't goddamn want to. I don't care enough about y'all's stuff to even want to tell y'all nothing about y'all's stuff. And Frank, you speak to that because you spoke to that very well. Like, you spoke to that when you was talking about your daughters and you and your household. We don't want to police women.
No, we don't, man. But the thing is, like, they can't even police each other without World War III happening.
But see, okay, so let me tell you where some of that comes from a lot of women. And this goes back to men not necessarily being a part of the child rearing process for a lot of these single parent homes. When you have the energies of both men and women in the house, you can balance those energies to know when and what is appropriate.
Absolutely.
But when you have this overarching female energy, especially a female energy that has to take on certain masculine traits to even be productive, you just have a whole bunch of masculine women who are like, "Well, I don't care what y'all talking about," because they've never navigated the antithesis of their own energy. So when a man says something to them,
they've never been in an environment where they were balanced out by masculinity.
Yes. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, you pretty much raised me because I didn't really know how to navigate men at all and made a whole lot of mistakes before you. But his energy, when I would turn up, he would look at me like I'm crazy and be like, "You done?" And I would sit at him, look at him like, "What you mean?" And it would make me feel bad because I'm like, I'm sitting here acting a fool, and this man is calm. And I remember
see now you got these spicy ass dudes that say I can't rate to read a woman. I'm gonna match.
Right, they're matching that energy.
And they spicy.
Like,
some of y'all dudes spicy as hell. Y'all, some of these dudes like, boy, I can't wait to read a woman. I can't wait. These dudes is out here talking and clapping to y'all. Look, sis, and then it's women pulling up their pants and dudes is out here clapping. There's dudes, man, I guarantee you there's dudes out there doing this. Snacks.
And it's unfortunate because it's like that doesn't mean men can't have their say where they can read a woman so much as it's in how you do it. My husband read me plenty times, but he would come to me cool, calm, and collective. Like, look, this is what we gonna do, and this is what we ain't gonna do. And of course, I got my I had my response, but at the end of the day, I followed his lead because I trusted him. I wouldn't have been with him, but I didn't trust him. So it's all of that. Once you have a guy who is so secure in himself that he can be in his complete masculinity, and his masculinity, without him saying it now, his masculinity demands your femininity, it'll happen.
I got a quick question for Frank. And we getting long, so I want to ask this because she just said that that trust that's established. How is that trust established for you? What are the key components and the key traits that you say I'm establishing this trust so she can go ahead that when I say something, it resonates?
Consistency, proven track record,
that's true.
Intention, effort, leadership. And what leadership is to me is saying what I mean what I'm saying, and backing it up with action. Because
you the important part.
You can, definitely. You can talk out your mouth all you want, but if you're not backing it up with action or proving it with action, then it's just talk. And you don't have anything to show for it. It's outside of just talking. Like if I tell my wife I'm gonna get an oil change, and she's driving the car daily, waiting for me to get the oil change, she ain't thinking about doing it because I told her that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take care of it. So she's expecting me and depending on me to take care of it. And on the 300th day that I said I'm gonna take care of it, the engine lock up because the oil was old. Then she's not gonna trust what I say after that. And as soon as I say, well, I'll take care of it. Well, you said that about the oil. You know what I'm saying? So to avoid that, you just got to be a man of action. And once you've established that, then I feel that she will feel confident enough in you and secure enough in you to first trust what you say, because you've proven yourself to be trustworthy. And then she'll, if it worked out that time, he said that it was going to happen this time. It happened that time. So I'm going to listen to him this time. Mm-hmm. It worked out again the way he said it. So I'm going to listen to him this time. So it shows you got to build trust and confidence with your woman. A lot of these niggas out here want to come in from day one. Day one, I'm the man.
Yep. You supposed to submit to me.
Supposed to fuck. Yeah, you supposed to.
Sir, I don't even know you. My energy don't even vibe with you right now.
Let me so I'm kind of bad. and my boy knows this, so I'm not gonna say nothing. And anybody who knows me knows this. If I say it, then it's almost like, all right, let me ride with that. I don't feel that I necessarily have to have proven it or prove it. Now, if I say it and I don't follow through, then you can hold me to that. I remember, and I'm that way, and I'm that way, or I've been that way too far. I believe in it's easier it's easier to lighten up than to tighten up. That's my mantra, and it's not necessarily a great one, but it avoids a lot of bullshit later. I can tell you that. I remember my wife asked me one time. She was like, asked me about the bills. Oh, okay. She said, well, yeah, I need to know what bill this is, who this is. I said, and me being a prick, I was a total prick in this moment because I could have said, hey, why you want to know what you're asking about? I was like, my response wasn't that. I wasn't in the response of, well, why are you asking me? My response was, you don't pay them, so why you asking? That was kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? And she was, I know it's so bad. I'm sorry. It's so bad.
Jesus.
I know it's so bad. Listen, trust me, I've regretted it since then. I'm like, you don't pay them, why you asking? But that's because I come from a line of men that just took care of things. And I remember my grandmother, when she got old in her age, she didn't know what to do when she saw a light bill showed up. She just didn't really know what to do. She wasn't a fool by any means. Don't get it twisted. She figured it out really quickly, but it was foreign to her. And for me, I want to provide that same space. I want these concerns to be foreign to you because you don't even got to worry about it. The lights are just on. I walk in, I just hit the button, and they just on. I don't know how much it is. I don't know what to do. Just it's on. That's it.
Not reasonable in this day and age. It's just not.
It's totally unreasonable because what if you get into a car wreck?
Yes.
And you're in the hospital laid up, and somebody got called, and what company do they pay? Nowadays, shit ain't even coming in the mail, so everything's coming in email. So
email, and you ain't got no access to the email account. You don't know nothing.
So I was a total douchebag in the moment. I wasn't even considering that. I said, you don't pay the bill, so why you asking? And that, but you shut up. But my whole thought behind it was, I'm willing to die for you. Like literally, if there's a gun presented and somebody says you got to choose your life or hers, when you know that as a man that you're willing to take the ultimate sacrifice for a woman, you kind of just don't want to be questioned about much or nothing. When you don't feel that it raises question, you know what I'm saying?
But
I mean, I do some questionable shit.
You have to consider is the woman you're willing to take a bullet for, she's willing to take one for you too.
She shouldn't be. Don't take no bullet.
No, yes, she should. Because at the end of I'm gonna tell you why. At the end of the day, protecting you is just as important to us as it is y'all protecting us.
That's sweet. But we protect y'all, and y'all protect them damn kids. See, there's a line.
It's both. It's both.
You don't protect me, and
let me finish. Let me finish.
You, and you protect the kids just in case. If they come through me, then they got to come through you. They don't got to come through you, then come through me and get the kids.
That's fine. I get it. But at the same token, I don't know about no other woman, but me.
You're speaking about just the general posture that she should have, like.
Yes.
This is my man too, so yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
When we thought somebody was about to break into our house, my husband grabbed the AR.
You told him to stay upstairs, and you ran down the stairs, did you?
Oh no, absolutely not. He grabbed the AR. I had the 45, and we both out in the backyard. I met his sticks.
Listen, if you ran down the stairs before him, he would have grabbed you by the back of your neck.
Oh no, I don't run down the stairs before him. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying you wouldn't have, because if you would have ran down the stairs before him, he would have grabbed you right here, and you would have found out how strong he was. He would have lifted you up.
Pretty much. But that's okay. But he always knew I had his six.
Right.
And I had his six for everything. For handling the kids, all of that. What's up?
The problem with that is which is why because my wife told me the same thing that she would lay down her life like, okay, yeah, I appreciate that, but the problem with that, if we're in the situation, I'm gonna need you to fall back, because if you're standing Now, if you're standing beside me, then now
we're both vulnerable.
It's like I got to look out for you and me, which is going to put
that's
me
not what I mean. I don't mean in the instance of we toe to toe, we teammating, going out whipping people's asses. That's not what I mean. Like I said, I always have his 6. So if
he's at 12, you at 6. Yeah.
If something happens, I'm his backup.
Okay.
I'm not going to put myself in the way.
There you go.
But I got his 6.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Through all things. And he knew that. If he had to go away with the military or whatever,
y'all get
he
back
didn't have to worry about nothing.
They get back together.
I see the gleam in the eyes.
The house was taken care of, kids were taken care of. He just called, how's everybody? Everybody's fine. Bills are paid, whatever. I always have his 6. Period.
And as long as that now, and I can kind of close it with that. As long as if the man-woman dynamic in the collective was that, we would no longer be a collective, we'd be a community. It's just that we ain't got enough Grandma Sheffies. We ain't got enough, you know what I'm saying, Robert Hills. We ain't got enough elders of the Moore household. Like all these elders that put all this stuff in, that's growing. Either it's grown thin to the point where it's becoming rare, or the people that think and feel like this need to start talking more. Like there needs to be more of a dialogue from those individuals, because the squeaky wheel is getting the grease, and the squeaky wheel is the dysfunction that we're always addressing, wherein there's a lot of functional things and rational people existing in the background, and they just chilling. Nobody hears them. Nobody knows that what's going on. Nobody thinks they exist. These women are delusional. These men are delusional. Men don't want to protect us. Women don't want to listen to us, so on and so forth. When actually all these people exist and they're somewhere on the same planet. They just not necessarily always in the same space and aware of each other's existence. So I hope eventually that this platform becomes that which people can say, these people kind of exist out there. Maybe, just maybe, you might not swipe right on Tinder and find them, but
they're not
they exist.
Yeah. I can guarantee you these people ain't.
She ain't about them swipe. She ain't about to swipe them. She done broke down the algorithms and made us all.
Because it's the truth. They're not designed to help you find.
No. And actually, that website, The Healthy Gamer, that guy talked about them the same way you did. He was like, they're not built for that. He was like, they're no longer built for that. They're built to flood you just with options. That's what it's built to do. It's built to keep you swiping. And
that's why so many people out here just having sex off of these apps and not actually finding anybody to date.
Yep. All right, man. Look, man, it's late. It's nighttime. We done went to the 10:50 hour.
Past my bedtime.
That's way too long. Way too long. Chanel didn't show up. I'm gonna call her out. Mark dipped out when he was gonna dip out. That's all well and good. We did have the matchmaker. That was great. And we
Mark didn't even put up the church finger.
No, he didn't. But man, we had the time. I enjoyed it as usual. If we have an impromptu Sunday, I'll let y'all know. I'll give y'all a heads up just in case.
Man, we done gave you loads of material.
I know, man. Y'all keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right,
y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all too.